you're one of our haters who are out there watching.
I want to warn people about hypnoporn.
We need to stay meta.
Stop that.
Need new tires? Like what?
If Jim would shut up for a second.
Oh, high fidelity.
Okay, don't tell me to shut up.
I'm not whining.
I eat doggies. I eat doggies. Feels like a party.
Stop that.
It's a war. They have made it so that I cannot be celebrating July 4th.
I don't care. I'm gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend. I don't care. How do I think? That's what I think. I don't care.
This is 6 Degrees of Stew. You don't need to stay meta, but I'm glad you're here.
All right, turn your radio. Turn your radio. All right, turn your radio. Turn your radio. Radio. Turn your radio. Turn your radio. Radio. Turn your radio.
Such a good song, DJ Anarchy. Do you have the links for him and for Fudgy? I can do Fudgies and DJ Anarchies. I definitely can. Oh, and everyone keep your ears tuned Friday. As long as everything goes on, as far as I know, I don't know what their schedule is, but I know DJ Danarchy has something special for the 1,000th episode of Knowledge Fight, and that should be on this Friday. Cool. If you guys remember, he did a special song for episode 666. So,
and they're very excited about their 1,000th episode. I know Dan and Jordan feel no pressure at all.
yeah, but DJ Danarchy is going to give us a humdinger. I know.
Let me get.
I didn't get to hear it. I didn't get to hear it, but I'm really excited because I know it's going to be amazing.
Oh, he's so good. I love his work. Okay, copy. This is DJ Danarchy's YouTube page, and he is on Twitter too. He's not on Blue Sky yet, is he, DJ Danarchy? I didn't think so. But you have same name. You can find him easy on Twitter as well. Very talented. Okay, so here we go. We'll start this up. Oh, let me make sure captions are on. This they actually care about people. They actually care about accessibility.
Since the beginning of ufology, the issue of intellectual ownership of contact narratives has been a contentious subject, with some of the earliest UFO conferences and contactee groups being marred by infighting among the leaders. George Van Tassel, a wiry man with sun-kissed skin,
they do give a nice little history. They go back a little bit.
His modest abode consisted of a makeshift airstrip, a guest ranch, and a weathered coffee shop. It was under the vast desert skies that Van Tassel's life took a mystical turn. He claimed to receive messages, transmissions from beings beyond our earthly realm.
One very much.
The most prominent among them was the Ashtar, an extraterrestrial entity who whispered secrets into Van Tassel's receptive mind. Ashtar spoke of unity, of a cosmic brotherhood, and of a grand destiny awaiting humanity.
Has like volumes on this all.
Van Tassel listened as he channeled these cryptic messages during intense meditation sessions. Yet, he remained humble, never asserting that he alone held the conduit to Ashtar's wisdom. Enter Robert Short. Short was the editor of the 1950s UFO magazine Interplanetary News. Long after his dealings with Van Tassel, he would himself find fame by channeling the being Corton.
This is Central Control. Information to follow.
Short believes that the Ashtar's messages deserved a broader audience. a spotlight that could illuminate the path to enlightenment.
Is that
He
Valiant
championed the
Thor?
cause, tirelessly promoting.
I believe it is. It looks like Valiant Thor. I mean, who else would Ashtar be but Valiant Thor? Like, they're calling him Ashtar, but
Well, I think the Quack. Well, I'll have to talk to Quacks about this, but I think the whole Ashtar command and the Valiant Thor. I think there's like a crossover, and wasn't there an intercepted message like in England in the 80s that supposedly came from Ashtar Command or something?
I believe so. And that's where I said Quacks probably has volumes on this. And if I knew I was going to watch this, I might have pulled, but it was kind of like I was pulling articles for the first thing we watched, and they had an article I found had this in. And I was like, what is this documentary and how have I not seen it? Oh, well, guess I'll just dive in blind.
And
and that's what we're doing.
I love how they call it like the inside story of the Cosmic Con, because the title, it's very QAnon anonymous, where this is the type of title that could attract a conspiracy theorist and think that it's in line with their views.
And they're going to actually do debunking in this, because I told you I watched nearly half of it, and they really start going after some stuff that is going to make them question some things. But the title leads you to believe this is right up my alley, you know?
Yeah, this is
clever
good.
now
This
that you
is
say
smart.
that. Because maybe that's why I wouldn't have watched it. I would have been like, oh, Jesus.
Because
I like Tubi. I watch
even
a lot of
channeling
shows on
the
Tubi.
entity himself. But here lay
He's
the fracture.
awesome. That's
Ashtar
how
was
Tubi has
abortioned
great
against
shit.
commercialization.
That's where we
He feared that
watch
the essence of
Return.
Ashtar's teachings would be diluted, reduced to mere platitudes for profit. Short envisioned Ashtar's words emblazoned across billboards, reaching the masses like cosmic advertisements.
I
He
love
pushed
the
forward
imagery in this.
in the face of Van Tassel's reservations.
It's right up the conspiracy
When the friendship
alley's
ended,
way,
however,
too.
Short created Ashtar Command, a commercial copy of Van Tassel's experience.
Look at that, how great.
Leading Van Tassel to release a statement that Short was not affiliated with Ashtar and was actually a clone of the original being. The war for contactee supremacy had begun. The
to
Ashtar
a bit of
Command,
conspiracy
a
theorists
loose
back then, they
collective
hate
of
it.
seekers, stood divided.
On the beach,
Some
just
followed Van
enjoying
Tassel's
life.
path of introspection, while others rallied behind Short's banners of publicity. The rift widened, and the desert sands bore witness to the cosmic clash. Decades have passed, and times have changed since Van Tassel's days, but the allure of mythology and the fallibility of human nature has not. Let's wind the clocks forward.
I think they just showed a picture of the Integratron.
Oh, there we go.
Anybody who
Contact
has a
supremacy.
copy,
What's the Integratron?
anyone who has a copy
hold on.
of the book Weird
Let me see how big-
California will it's a sound bath. When I was a conspiracy theorist, my partner at the time, it's down near Joshua Tree, and we were gonna stop there, and you can get like this like sound bath thing. It's supposed to be like healing energy and frequencies.
Really?
And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that it is linked Integratron. I'm pretty sure it is linked with like some Integratron sound bath in South Bathlanders, California, and I think it is like linked to like a UFO cult. But I
Probably
think they
this
just
cult
showed
then.
a picture. I think they just showed a picture of it. I'll send you the Google link that I did in the studio chat.
Huh. Let me see. Let me pay attention this
Begun.
time now.
The Ashtar Command.
I was
a loose
paying attention, but I
collective of
didn't look at
seekers,
the. I
stood
was
divided.
taking in like.
Some followed
detail.
Van Tassel's path of introspection, while others rallied behind Short's banners of publicity.
That
the
thing.
rift widened,
The dome
and
cover
the desert
thing.
sands bore witness to the cosmic clash.
Okay.
Decades have passed,
I
and times have changed since Van
I
Tassel's
saw a documentary about that, because then didn't they turn it into a whole bunch of different things over the years? Like it grew more commercial sized, and like there was some infighting over it.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I almost went there. I didn't know there was a UFO cult and shit.
Yep. There you go. UFO cult.
days. but the allure of mythology and the
Yeah, this is a
fallibility
really well
of
done
human nature
documentary.
has not.
From what I watched.
Let's
so far.
wind the clocks forward. In 2014, a new prominent figure in the topic emerged, one that would leave a fractured community in its wake. Corey Goode, a pariah within the UFO community. Corey was quickly becoming known for his claims of being an insider within secret government space programs. He has described himself as a government whistleblower and contactee, with over 20 years of experience in what he refers to as unacknowledged special access programs, including a program called Project Solar Warden. Corey, born and raised in Richardson, Texas, came from humble beginnings. He forged a career for himself in the IT profession and also worked with the FBI's InfraGard and the Texas Air National Guard before finding fame on the internet. But to understand the phenomenon of Corey Goode, we must look at his origins within ufology. On January 16th, 2012, he began posting on the Project Avalon
Guess who runs
forum.
Project Avalon?
His story of
tie into what
unlocking
we just
memories from a
watched.
secret space program became popular. It seemed to hit on every major secret space program narrative that had come before it, drawing suspicion from the very beginning. Project Avalon functioned as an information portal and forum established by independent Scientologist Bill Ryan and Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot.
I did not know Bill Ryan was an independent Scientologist. I just learned that on this, which kind of was interesting.
There is, as far as I know, there's no such thing as an independent Scientologist. Once you leave, you are a suppressive person and you are no longer a Scientologist.
I'm thinking Bill read Dianetics and just practices himself. He bought the soup can machine and just does stuff on himself, like just runs, he interrogates himself, I guess.
I may be in a cult, but it's a cult of one.
Yeah, it's a cult of one.
I'm the leader and the worshiper.
I was like, what the hell? An independent Scientologist? What? He's a Scientologist of one. These people. When I started watching this documentary, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Carrie and Bill, immediately, like a couple minutes in, and it was like, it's tied in to what we were doing. Like, all roads lead. This community is just one. It's a blob.
I'm an independent
Goode's story began to gain more attention in 2014. Hey, that's me. Around this time, New York Times best-selling author David Wilcock was looking for a new insider
Taylor,
to
he's an
enable him to
independent
have a
Power
second
Ranger.
income as a show host at Gaia.com.
David Wilcock is an independent
Virtual
movie
Netflix that
screen
aims to
on his
provide
forehead.
yoga, health, and alternative science theories.
What color are you, Taylor?
Gaia
What color
offers
of
a
Power Ranger?
for awakening to new truths in new ways.
In 2014, Corey made contact with David, and in early 2015 was chosen to co-star with him on a new show. David believed Corey's story, which included elements like the blue avians and the sphere being
blue
alive,
avians.
as it
I always forget
resonated
about
with
that.
what he already thought. The show was called Cosmic Disclosure, and David and Corey's tenure lasted 12 seasons. During the 4-year
Taylor's
stint,
the fuchsia.
Gaia's stock
He's
price
fuchsia.
would rise $300 million. Corey would make movies and host
Jordan
conferences until
Sather.
it all came crashing down in a spiral that
got a
resulted in
QAnon pop-up.
lawsuits, deceit, doxing, and harassment. Join us on a journey to discover the truth behind the
It is a
rise
cool
and
word,
fall
Taylor.
of one of ufology's greatest controversial figures.
The picture they did of Corey Goode in the spacesuit. The shade.
I think I have heard of this guy. He claims to be part of. I swear, I think I have heard of him. You're right.
You had to have like the blue avians. He has so many different crazy theories. Like he got a lot of shit because he came on a Project Avalon saying all this shit, and even they were like on Bill Ryan's Project Avalon, were like, get out of here, like we don't want anything to do with you. And somehow it just translated like he failed upwards in the ufology and conspiracy theory world, and it's just
That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You fail upward. You don't get to where you are by.
These jib jab graphics rock. They do look like jib jabs. I'm glad people
Wait,
still know what
what's
a jib
jib-jab?
jab is.
Hey,
How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Pretty good,
What is
pretty
Jib
good.
Jab?
I just got off the phone with Jay
It
Widener.
was
so
people. It used to be popular on Facebook. I don't know if it's still around anymore. Where you would like create Christmas cards or like short little clips, and you would put people's heads in like dancing videos that were already made. Or
Okay.
do you remember those? They were really bad too. Your face could never fit the person's face you put in, and they would do like a little dance or funny little things. They were hilarious.
Okay.
I
like
thought.
Mel Gibson on South Park.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I think he's ready to talk to us about his experience dealing with Corey Goode and David Wilcock. But we're going to have to fly to Colorado.
Stewartson does love Jib
We're
Jab.
going to have to go to his home territory to sort of like set up this interview if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
While I'm in the air, let me tell you a little bit about this guy. Darcy Weir has spent the better part of a decade making documentaries about different stories that have come out of ufology. He had watched the online communities at war and had become curious about Corey, David, and the culture surrounding them. In June 2021, he gave a talk at the UFO Megacon,
This is where I said,
he cautioned against telling wild tales.
Because he goes to this UFO con, and you'll see in his presentation, I think like there, like you said, like Brad, like still like the stuff you can enjoy it, but maybe let's not be so out there, you know?
Yeah.
The topic.
So we need to be careful with sensationalism in this community. And if people make claims that are bold and new, we have to be careful about that. So for example, I could stand up here and I could say that there have been many bird people reports, and for example, this individual here up on the screen, I could say I've done many, many missions with this bird person in space secretly. But, if somebody's from my generation, they may know this bird person is actually Falco, and he's from a Super Nintendo game, which I played, and I actually did many missions with him and completed the game.
This made me laugh so hard because I played this game. I was cracking up.
We don't let this story that many of you have possibly heard already, these possible bird beings from space that are trying to protect our planet, and there's battles with other extraterrestrials and yada, yada, yada. Well, that story has really foreshadowed the story of secret space, which I'm going to talk about today. And it stole the show for a while, and it's been in the news, and there's been RICO lawsuits as a result of people falling out after these stories flopped, And so again, time will tell the truth. We have to take a step back when we hear these bold claims, and we have to look at things historically and see if they stand up to the truth over time.
First up is Jay Widener, who for a number of years worked as the head of content at Gaia.com. We have traveled to the heart of contactee country
This guy bears a lot
to
of
find the man that
responsibility for
built
pumping out
Corey Goode.
conspiracies.
What was it like working for Gaia? You watched it grow from the ground up.
I would say that, it would not have grown if I hadn't been there. I'm sure all the people that worked there at the time would agree with that. I knew everybody. I knew George Norrie. I knew David Wilcock. I knew, because I had my own radio show and things up in Seattle, so I knew everybody. My first film I made when I was 15, and so I'd been making films ever since I could afford to buy a camera.
I feel like I've seen
that
Room
was the only thing I ever
237
wanted
for some
to do
reason.
was do films. And I was in Hollywood for a while doing a bunch of independent films.
was that
I was a script doctor, which means you take scripts that are
That's
poorly
another
written
room.
and
219 and
rewrite it,
419.
which most of them are. And then I had a very shamanic experience and decided that I didn't want to live in LA
Shamanic
anymore.
experience.
So I left and moved to Seattle.
Wait. That's the documentary about The Shining.
Oh, is that the movie? Okay.
And that's the documentary that I saw, but I never saw the actual entirety of The Shining.
So he made a documentary about The Shining.
Let me just make sure it's the same. It says room
237.
What's his name? What's this guy's name?
Oh, hold on.
Is it Rodney Asher?
No.
Okay, because the documentary about Stanley Kubrick's thing was
his name is
directed.
I had it down. Where did I didn't write it. His name is, hold on, I can back up a second.
We have traveled to the heart of contactee country to find the man that built Corey Goode.
It appears to be different people. I apologize.
Yeah. I think it's like, I should know his name offhand because he releases Corey Goode's
what was it like
Depot
working
from
for Gaia?
the
You
Rico
watched
case.
it grow from ground up.
I would
I believe
say
it's him.
that, yeah, it would not
Jay
have grown
Widener.
if I hadn't been there. I'm sure all the people that
Okay, yeah,
worked there at the
sorry.
time would agree
My
with that.
mistake.
I knew everybody. I knew George Norrie. I knew David Wilcock. I knew, because I had my own radio show and things up in Seattle, so I knew everybody. My first film I made when I was 15, and so I'd been making films ever since I could afford to buy a camera.
I do feel like
And that
I've
was the
seen
only thing
that
I ever
or
wanted to do
it's
was do
familiar. Or I'm getting
films.
another movie
And I
confused.
was in Hollywood for a while doing a bunch of independent films. I was a script doctor, which means you take scripts that are poorly written and rewrite it, which most of them are. And then I had a very shamanic experience and decided that I didn't want to live in LA anymore. So I left and moved to Seattle and almost immediately got a job at a public radio station up there.
KCMU 90.3
No,
FM.
you were right. That's the same
Music
title of
that
the movie.
matters.
He just must have made a
And
different
had a
movie
free
with
for all
different
job
subject
where I just
matter.
started interviewing anyone I wanted. So I was interviewing Terrence McKenna, Noam Chomsky, a whole retinue of intellectuals.
Chomsky.
And my
Fuck
show
outta
went
here.
all the way to the top.
Yeah, what was the show called?
It was called Mind
But I guess
Over Matters.
you know,
And when I left 3 years later, it was a #1 show in its slot. But what it did was, I would do like political conspiracy stuff on Saturday, and on Sunday I do kind of New Age spirituality, right? And I learned the combination of the two is really quite volatile as far as people wanting to hear
it
it.
made me money.
The ark is definitely a weapon. You can just read it in the Bible. It's a weapon. It's not an object of worship or anything. I believe it sat in the sarcophagus of the Great Pyramid and was part of the Egyptian Giza power plant. They're not censoring the pro or the anti. They're censoring the ones that come up with good ideas and are trying to find solutions. It's the weirdest thing. It's just they don't want this dichotomy to continue forever and until we're all killing each other. And that's how I got hired eventually at Gaia.
I told you he's
was in
responsible
'96.
for so
I got
much.
hired at Gaia, what was the name of the company then?
Nature here is really beautiful. We have lots of green.
David Wilcock is such a
Mexican
slob the way he
peppers, I've
dresses
always liked
too.
those. Massive.
Ooh, like.
And I was
I
the
know.
video development
Get a shirt and
director
pants that fit
for
you.
4.5 years, and then I left,
Get a face
started my
that
own
fits you.
production company.
Get a forehead that
Sacred
fits you.
Mysteries Productions and Distribution, and that was very successful. Made about
Hold on.
25
Did you
documentaries.
see? Look
in
at all the David
8
Ike.
years. And then
David
I
Ike,
got called back from the
Bridge
owner
of
of
Love.
Yep.
Gaia Streaming, saying that he wanted to talk to me, and then we went to Hawaii.
He kind of
We
puts on
planned out
this,
the
oh,
entire
well,
network.
shucks.
And
David
then
Wilcock's
I
really
joined in
pulled
April
one over on me.
2012, and
Dude, you were publishing David
stayed
Ike.
there for almost 6
Get outta
years.
here.
Incredible. We're talking pre-Wilcock, Corey
What
Goode.
was that?
What was that like?
It was a startup.
He was a blue
I'm really
avian.
good at
I
startups.
know.
Gaia, solutions for your
know.
healthy lifestyle.
So we were working 16 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. Had very few people. Nobody knew what was going on. I was the only person that had any production experience. Outside of the technicians that were working for another video company that later was incorporated into Gaia. So at that time I was, and David joined us, and I believe it was December of 2012. I started in April of 2012. The company had been around for about 5 months when I joined, and then things really took off when I joined because not only did I know how to do production, but I knew the esoteric material. So I was kind of a very useful person to have there at the beginning because I could wear many hats. And so it was a pain in the ass for me because it was a lot of work and a lot of pressure. We had, I think, 5,000 subs when I first joined. And when I left 6 years later, we had 750,000.
750,000.
How did you first meet David Wilcock?
Yeah, I met David Wilcock at a conference, maybe 2007 or 6.
Look at that shirt.
We were all
That's a crime.
we were on a panel with Jordan Maxwell and Richard Hoagland, and it was actually a pretty amazing panel. I don't think we've ever had that many heavyweights in one panel before or again since.
Well, that's another problem. I mean, I'm totally convinced that there are extraterrestrial life forms here. That's just my opinion. I have no doubt in my mind.
He came up to me and told me that he'd read all my essays on 2001 and Stanley Kubrick, and was just praising me like
Maybe
crazy.
he was
and
part of that documentary with
Kubrick. He's a really charming guy. There's no doubt about it. Very articulate.
Was he 44? Or is Trump 44? Trump's 45, so he would have been 44. Okay, so let me do that part again.
David, camera angles. Think about when you're being
Obama.
filmed.
So what I'm okay.
So I was like, oh, well, David Wilcock likes my stuff.
He approached you after the panel.
Yeah.
Seriously?
What kind of led from there? He just kept in touch with you?
Good step. I can still hear you when you talk from there. But you're muted.
Sorry. He's like, he doesn't know that Trump was a 45th.
I know. How embarrassing was that, right?
I mean,
I was embarrassed for him.
I mean, he's become kind of a bookmark. If you need to know what number President Jimmy Carter was, you just count backwards, you know? It's like,
I know.
Trump is so awful, he's become a bookmark. Like, how do you not know that?
I was embarrassed for him. He's like, wait, what? I was like, David, this is embarrassing.
And get a tailor.
I can't
Not
take
you,
his
tailor.
clothes.
I mean, a Tailor tailor.
Yes. And he should get himself a tailor too, who can say, dude, fix your forehead.
We would talk, email mostly at
hair.
the time. Not really
Better
too
hair
much.
to do something with the forehead.
And then when I got hired at Gaia in
420.
April of 20, I was out to
2012,
dinner
2012,
with the
2012,
owner,
2012.
and he said, you know David Wilcock? And I said, well, I don't know him. I've talked to him. I got his contact info. And he said, well, I'd like to have him have a show here.
I say that for
And
a reason.
so I called
David gets
up,
in trouble
or
with 2012.
Somehow I got a hold of David. I can't remember
Big
how.
conspiracy with that
And
year.
I said, how would you like to do a show with Gaia? And he jumped at the chance. He was coming off of the 2012 debacle, in which he...
So that would be very cool, because what we're expecting after 2012 is a 100 times more harmonious utopian world where things like...
Wasn't who?
Was Wilcock the one that was like in prison for tax evasion? No, or was that Fritz Springmeier?
There was another guy. Yeah, it wasn't David. He was just the one who was making all these predictions, and they went wrong, and he was embarrassed, completely humiliated, and he didn't know what to do, how to recover from it, because he built a lot of his career off of that.
Yeah,
and then he was like, fuck.
2012 Maya.
Uh-huh. And he didn't know what to do.
Chud. What a chud.
Uh-huh.
time travel, levitation, instant telepathy, instant healing, telekinesis are as common and as everyday as breathing.
Apparently, everybody was going to be psychic. Everybody was going to spontaneously be able to fly. It was crazy. And
like all of humanity would ascend.
Yeah.
We're still
and
here.
I was,
Didn't ascend.
you know, I was following the 2012 stuff, and I actually did a documentary on 2012, which was really quite a big hit. I didn't see any of that in the Maya prophecies or any of the other prophecies, so I don't know where he got that, but he was right. It had just been the debacle. It was December 2012 when I contacted him, so it was right after that. And I knew I kind of had him in a way because, you know, the debacle was pretty big.
So you can harness that potential in yourself, and I see a very, very positive future coming. So I thank you.
Edgar Casey was wrong.
And so
that.
he was.
I did find it. Jay Weldner, he was involved in the room 237.
So I did see the documentary, and he did, and he was involved.
It was. I now I kind of have to feel like I want to go back and rewatch it because I remember there was a lot. From what I recall, I wasn't a conspiracy theorist when I saw it, but my head wasn't as ordered or more ordered as it is now.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem very conspiratorial. It seemed very analytic. But now I'm also thinking film analysis is very conspiratorial because
now I want to watch it knowing he was involved in all this other shit he did. Now I'm like, fuck, did you fuck up like that?
I mean, the interesting thing about film is like, and like, I know the film class was a long time ago, but I just keep getting reminded of some of the stuff. But one of the things is that nothing happens by chance in movies. And so you can kind of see where the line can be drawn between conspiratorial thought and film analysis.
Yeah.
Huh. So there, and that this just like popped into my head, but they do talk about the end scene and the Federal Reserve, but they do touch on a lot of the conspiracy theories that were surrounding The Shining.
Maybe that's why that was his part of it.
And Stanley Kubrick, for his part, he probably did put some trolls in there, like there is like a glaringly obvious Apollo reference.
Yeah,
and he probably did that to fuck with people. I don't know how soon those conspiracy theories had come out, but
now I'm gonna want to watch it. I'll probably watch it tomorrow because it's gonna be in my brain, and I'm gonna be like, might as well,
the TV
because
is unplugged. Did you know that? The scene where they're watching the TV's never plugged in. I'm like,
yeah, I think I'll watch that
Hunter
tomorrow.
Agrees.
That's a good distraction away from all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Shush. No, sir.
Eager to find a new venue and change, the course.
December of 2012?
December 21st, 2012 was the big day of the change, right? And it didn't happen. And I contacted him probably a little after Christmas of 2012 finally, because I wanted to wait to see what happened, right? If it did happen, then we didn't have to do the show, right? Yeah. So I waited till after that, then I got him, and he was in the dumps. Right. And we had like a 3-hour conversation, and then
he
felt
was upset that the world
didn't
end.
And I brought him
to
Gaia, and we started a show called Wisdom Teachings.
It's unbelievable.
Which was our biggest hit show. It was almost immediately. We went all the way to the top as our biggest hit show, and it was a good show, and it was. To my point of view, David's major talent, the number one talent that he has, and yet it's a big talent, is he can take ideas from alternative science and explain them really well. So he could have worked for like CNN or a big network doing alternative science. He would have been making lots of money. It would have been a big, huge hit, but he didn't want to go that way.
I see your
He wanted
hands
to
on
go the
your- your hands on
esoteric
your
way.
forehead.
So that was what the 2012 was all.
He could have done alternative science for CNN. When does
what?
Okay,
I
I know
forgot about
CNN
that.
I know CNN has Pam Hemphill on there, but since when did they do alternative fucking science? I mean, they're getting to that point. But
Free
come
Hunter,
on
let
now.
Hunter speak.
I know that was very. And notice how everyone noticed how she disappeared shortly after that. She had to cover it up. She had to cover it up.
It was a huge cover up. I had to get out quick.
All about. And when we did wisdom teachings, we did esoteric stuff, but I kept him. At first, I tried to keep him on the alternative science, like explain zero gravity machines to us.
Wisdom cannot be taught.
It can only be learned. Really good.
That's a fact.
We see in these giant stone monuments, there's something
Alternative
wrong.
for Thomas Dolby at 86.
And so we were very happy, at least for the first 3 years.
So 2012 to 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. He really built up an audience, do you think?
He had about, probably getting about 18% of the viewers or something. It was big.
Wow.
Yeah, it was big. And cheap. The show was cheap. It was just him standing in front of a camera.
Looking like a slob.
So we were able to crank out show after show.
Big-ass
And
forehead.
David and I worked really well together because I would share my information with him, and he would like, oh man, that's a great idea, right? And then so I was able to feed him a lot of what I knew, and so it was really a really good collaboration.
Tell me about your experience working on set with Pete Peterson and David Wilcock.
That would be, I would say, early summer 2016 is the first time that I met Pete Peterson. He got brought in because he was David's #1 insider. He said anyway. And Pete came in and he was elderly. I don't know what his age was, but it's like I know people in their 90s that are sharp as a tack. I know people in their 60s who can't remember where they put their shoes, right? So I don't think it's an age-related thing as much as it's...
You guys were doing elder abuse. Like, this guy was already
and
into conspiracy theories, and at this point,
I don't want
it
to
was
disparage
really
him because he's not with us anymore, and I'm going to be gone someday too. And I don't want people disparaging me and showing disrespect for me. And so I don't want to do that with Pete. But yeah, it was a concern. And, he said things like...
How dare you, sir?
Things that I just...
Rude.
I couldn't,
I couldn't. This guy had the balls to introduce this shit to
I forget the name of the company that created the Skynet and the Terminator films. But he said he said he started Cyberdyne.
Yeah, this guy
years
said he
before the
Cyberdyne
Terminator film came
Terminator.
out.
We were in uncharted territory now, making up history as we went along.
And you can look that up. I mean,
right.
So,
his claim to fame is that he was.
By the way, that film looks like it was made yesterday.
I know.
Inventor,
and can I just say, they're fact checking, and like he knew that Pete Peterson was like lines of bullshit, and he's like, and I knew that Cyberdyne and stuff, but he's let David Wilcock spread massive amounts of bullshit, but had a problem with Pete Peterson and Skynet. Like, honestly, that's where you drew the line. Not not Blue Avian.
Wilcock was like spreading that Skynet was real or something.
He said he invented it. He said he invented it, Cyberdyne, from the movie.
James Cameron should sue the shit out of him.
Pete Peterson's dead now, so you can't do it. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, it caused a rift between Carrie and Bill Cassidy. Bill Cassidy thinks he's full of shit. He has a whole thing up on Project Avalon. Like, Pete Peterson divided the conspiratorial world.
Are these people? Holy shit! So
it's
you're
insane.
Telling me there's got to be some asshole out there that thinks that the xenomorphs from aliens are real.
Oh, 100%. Or
they
invented it.
I mean, this shit is getting so fucking out of hand.
Oh, and this guy here, it was a progenitor of a lot of it and let it grow.
Taylor invented AOL. It was called TAOL. TAOL. You know what? I invented the internet.
microcomputer chassis.
breaking news.
But I never saw stuff like that anywhere.
And this all predates
Weird.
QAnon too. Let's keep in mind the date of this. Like all this stuff's going
Although
on. Like when David Wilcock comes on the
he
scene.
couldn't
It was
even work his
2012.
phone.
Predates
Too
QAnon.
sad. I felt terrible about it. And so he couldn't answer the questions. He would just wander off like a person who, is
in the woods.
Yeah, like a person who's getting too old.
You said something about, he said, yeah, so I had built the headband with leftover parts from a microwave. I was sitting in my basement. Then I started getting a little hungry and I realized, oh yeah, there's the lady, that nice lady across the street, and she knows how to bake a really nice cake. So I went upstairs and I opened the front door. I looked across the street and sure enough, she was standing out front, gave her a wave, and she invited me over. So she started feeding me the strawberry cake. You wouldn't believe the cakes this lady could make. And then you just say, Pete,
yes,
Pete, the headband. We're not talking about cakes.
I forgot completely that story. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he invented a headband that I can't remember what it did. I think it read memories or something. And he'd plundered a microwave and he
I
was
want strawberry cake
telling
now,
the
if I'm being
story.
honest,
And
too.
at first he was doing really good. And then he started getting sidetracked and he started talking about being
I have
hungry
chocolate
and
cake
wanting to
downstairs
have the
I made
neighbor
with my
lady
nephew if Tosh
cook a
didn't eat
cake
it all.
for him.
But
And,
that's
and
not what I
I'm
want.
like
I want
in
strawberry
control
cake.
of absolutely losing my stuff. And finally I, like, Pete, the headband. And he kind of jerked his head around. Like, oh, that's right. I'm talking about the headband. Right. So this went on for literally hours, 8 hours. And we would come away with 15, 20 minutes worth of usable footage. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The editors
That's just
were really
elder abuse, conspiratorial
And
abuse.
this is Monday, June the 29th. And this is a Project
there he
Camelot
is
interview
again.
with a
Project
difference.
Camelot
Because not
interview.
only have I
They're
flown
everywhere.
the best part of 8,000
Yeah,
miles,
the Anunnaki
at least it
overlords
feels
were good.
like it, it's not quite that many, from Europe to be here for the weekend. But we are also here with David Wilcock, who's also flown to Los Angeles here for the weekend to join us
David, that
in a
forehead
meeting
just goes
that we
on for
had
days.
with Dr. Pete Peterson.
At least
Who's
Pete
a
has
name
a
that
reason.
not many
He's
people
balding.
will know, but maybe among the many extraordinary whistleblowers and contacts and researchers and scientists who we have had the great pleasure of talking to. And
I
one
love
of the
Meemaw
things we want to
fentanyl
ask
cake.
you, straight off the
Liz
cuff,
Churchill's
is
soulmate.
why is it that you feel that you wanted to put some of your almost unbelievable and very important testimony on camera for a lot of people
Why are you so
to
sweaty,
listen
Bill?
to and watch and understand at this time? Why is it that you've come forward and you're talking to us now?
Well, I think the main reason for that is that I've had a inside insight for many, many years. Having been
100%
picked up
stuff.
in various programs to do things for the
allow
government
it.
since I was 13 years old. And being a problem solver, I wish I could say that it was hard work and so forth, but I come from a long line of inventors on both sides of my family tree. And
Yes, the influencers are the one
people
that I'm
who
most angry at.
graduated from school very early.
They deserve our score.
And were significant in affecting things that affected humanity.
Can I just
A number of them in virtually
David's forehead?
Again, no. Significant things that affected humanity. Both sides of his family tree were extra super special boys.
Yep.
Just like, just like Alex. Him and his dad were super special. It's all, look, dude, let me tell you something. I will be happy to tell you that, well, not happy about it, not exactly proud of it, but I have more failures in my life than I do success. That's how real life works.
Me too.
I believe this guy the same way I believe a man who walks into a casino and says he hit 5 jackpots on different slot machines in one day.
Exactly. Well, and I think Pete Peterson, he may be the one that he told everybody that the government was after his house for various different reasons. And here it turned out that his house is being foreclosed on It was filthy.
Facts.
It was a hoarder's house. It was absolutely fucking disgusting. I think they found dead cats. Like, it was just gross. And he
Yeah,
had scammed tons of people out of money.
And when the conspiracy theorists have these stories about being paranoid or being stalked and being watched and stuff like that, part of it is their own paranoia, but they're also contributing to that with the way that they act. These are I don't know how to say this without saying like that I'm some like cruel like 1800s era like snake pit doctor.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to like, I'm not saying mistreat the mentally unwell, but I'm saying that like we have it in the olden days, mentally unwell people such as this would have, okay, they would have been forced into asylums, which is not good, but I'm talking like maybe 20, 30 years ago, some of these people would have
They would have been 302'd. Like today, they would be 302, but we still we're hesitant to do that. And some of them do need real mental health care.
Yeah, they really do. And it is like a zombie disease.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories are a zombie disease.
And some of it turns out really dangerous. Like, who was the conspiracy theorist who got into the shootout and ended up dead?
Bill Cooper.
Yeah, Bill Cooper. There we go.
And he killed a cop.
Yeah.
In the process of that.
So they have like real consequences. And the Pizzagate guy that just died.
Yeah, and we can say that he probably would not have died if it had been for Pizzagate, because he was wanted on an arrest warrant that was related to like probation or something. Like, this shit has lasting consequences, and these J6 people that were just let out of jail, I saw something that one of them just went right back in.
I know.
And you know, this it's just these are not well people, and also the prison system has a high rate of recidivism because it creates an environment in which you have to have a job to stay free, but no one will hire you because you were in prison.
Yeah.
And
and the prison system is our largest mental health institution in the United States. Like, and I can talk about this from a perspective of like PA state prison system. Taj worked in one, but they only had one near him that was strictly for mentally ill or people who needed mental health services and stuff.
Like
but
Linda
they can
Hamilton
only take so many inmates. So, and sometimes it was hard for them to even be like, no, this inmate really needs to go there. They ignore them, or they don't think they're mentally ill enough. You don't have enough issues. You don't have enough problems. When it's clear they do, but that's just the way the system works. Overcrowded. It's just.
And you know, something just occurred to me. If let's say we were going to remake Terminator 2, but today, same plot, same character, same everything. Like same general plot. The biggest difference would be that like Linda Hamilton's character would not be in a criminal insane asylum. She'd probably be president.
She would be. You're not lying.
Every kind of field and
no, you're not lying.
Climate. And
Imagine
I see that the world seems to have gone downhill. I'm aware of many programs to remove intelligence from people and return the people, at least of this nation, to a mediocre status. We've watched the school systems deteriorate. We've watched
you got off track.
As my wife likes to say, the program in the school systems, no child left with a mind.
Descriptors of value.
And that's her paraphrase for it. And I've seen that the type of government we have, though I'm a patriot and very crudely use the phrase that I got the flag tattooed on both cheeks of my fanny the hard way. I spent 10 years in the Marine Corps, and a great part of that was in combat and combat zones.
He's arguing
and
from authority. They always do
other,
that, conspiracy theorist.
things I did for the
was
government,
an
and
authoritative
He wasn't.
figure.
like to think
He
I
wasn't a
am
10-star
unique in that I
general.
was
I
probably
know,
shot
right?
at on most continents. And anyway, what I see happening is a
Yes,
complete
another
turn away
chud.
from
Another chud.
the way this country started out and then its constitution to what appears to be headed toward
Socialistic system. Drink socialism.
a socialistic
Drink communism.
system where reason and logic has no
Their
no
scripts are
bearing.
the same year after year
And
after year.
it concerns me, and I have no idea if my voice can help. I have no idea if that can, but I know that my ideas, I have
Definitely a
inventions
critter at night. He turns into a rolling
that
furball.
have proven to be very helpful to society, and many of them have
With
been
Scott
suppressed
Baio.
by the fact that we had a government that was
I love the
run
fucking
by
critter movies. Do
industry
you know,
rather than by the people.
fun fact about critters.
You're sitting in the producer.
In the first critter movie, it is the first, it may be the only, I don't know, it's the first topless scene you will ever see of that black actress. She's very famous. Why did I go to tell a fun fact and I forget who it was. I'll come back to you with my fun fact as soon as her name comes. My dog and cat are fighting and they made me forget her name. I can't think of it right now.
Also, I just want to point out that they're not showing where this definition comes from.
As soon as I see her name, I'm looking up the actress, the cast in Critters. As soon as I see her, it's gonna bug me. She has a nude topless scene in it because my boys pointed it out to me because they're like that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you guys! Why is she not listed in that one? Is it Critters 2? Maybe it's Critters 2." I was like, "You guys, of course, boys would notice that." I was dying. Oh, where is she? Oh, I'll find it anyways. But anyways, it's funny. I was like, you guys.
You're watching this go down.
They just discovered
Poor
Critters
Pete
about
sitting there
5 or 6
getting
years ago.
off track.
Yeah,
Angela
and
Bassett, I
frustrated.
believe
He's
it
probably
is.
trying to figure out. I mean, I'm not senile. Hopefully, I never will be. But I can imagine it's quite a frightening experience to
Critters
not be able to
4 she's
remember
in.
something that you know, and
Yeah,
so
Angela
you know,
Bassett
so
is in
we would.
Critters number 4.
So it was mostly David and I coming to blows, arguing about how to handle Pete.
So you talked about how productions early
does feel
on
like that,
in
Mark.
your career with Gaia and Gaia, that you could just let people speak and you wouldn't have to edit anything.
For the most part, I wasn't being watched. Yes.
But then when it came to this new era where these
Taylor Boots.
insiders were coming into
You can see Angela Bassett's young
a lot of editing
breast
had to
on
take
Critters
place.
4.
We
young
had a rule
Angela
at
Bassett.
Gaia that all the hosts got paid the same amount because we knew that we talked to each other.
Wow,
If one
that's
got paid
ahead,
more
too.
than the other, there would be a big fight, right? So everybody got paid the same. So David came out to me after like the first 2 years of wisdom teachings. He said, "John, I need a raise." I said, "I can't. I can't negotiate with you anyway. That's accounting. But I can tell you, you're not going to get a raise. I know how this place works." He said, "Well, you got to help me, man. I need money." And I said, I thought about it, and about a week later, I called him up. I said, "Well, we could do another show."
Oh, David Wilcock.
And he's like, "Hey, that's a great idea."
2 shows at the same time.
Yeah. So I decided to create a show called Disclosure. And what it would be was I would use mostly my contacts, and I would bring in my people that I knew, like Graham Hancock and Robert Bivall and Rupert Sheldrake and all these intellectual kind of people that were more my kind of people, not UFO whistleblowers. And
So
then
you legitimized
David would
him
interview them.
more.
And this went good until I ran out of people. So I started going to other people that I didn't know and asking them if they would come on, right? And I got a lot of resistance. And the reason I got the resistance, nobody wanted to be interviewed by David Wilcock. He was very
You
polarizing.
think?
I did not know that, by the way. He knew he was polarizing.
You didn't know that? Come on.
And so we kind of slowed down the production of the show because I couldn't find anybody anymore. So then I went to David and said, "David, I want you to have a second show so you can have more money, but I'm having a lot of trouble finding anyone
at
to,
this because it was second show, so he
say
gets
yes
Corey
to being
Goode.
interviewed by you." And honestly, David, you're not a very good interviewer. I mean, interviewer requires you to listen and David's not listening. The whole time the person's talking, he's trying to figure out how he can put an angle into it on his own body of work. You know, and
Sounds like
the people,
Jim Stewartson.
yeah, and the people getting interviewed know this. So you can tell him right away, hey, what are you doing, man? I'm not talking about that, right? So, so
He went
then
and found
I
a
was at a
whistleblower.
loss. And then in, I would say, April of 20, he did an interview with Corey Goode at his house in Malibu and brought it in to me for me to see. And I watched it, and it was technically a nightmare. And Corey Goode was being interviewed, and he was had a kind of a bland style to him, but his story was somewhat interesting.
It up.
What was that story?
That he'd been recruited into the secret space when
Why
he was
they
a
believe
young
that
kid,
program?
and he'd been taken out of school and went to special courses.
That's not a swear, is it?
and then was taken into the secret space. He became
That might have been a
kind of nebulous
paranoid
as to what he
request.
became, but he was in the
Maybe.
program. And he
Or
would do various
maybe it's
jobs for them, I
copyrighted.
guess.
Maybe.
And he
I don't
went to the
know.
bases on Moon
Weird.
and Mars, and I think a base on a moon of Jupiter or Saturn, I think. And he'd been out to the Kuiper belts and all this other stuff.
I had little broken pieces of memory from, very young age of 18, 19 years old. I would have flashes,
Sean
little pieces
again.
of memory
Yeah.
that would kind of
God, he's lying.
pop in, but none of them were contiguous or connected. They were just, they just seemed like someone else's experience almost. It was very weird. It was reoccurring, and it was happening. And I knew something was up because I knew I was in the MyLab program. But as time started going, sometimes a piece would pop in, a memory would pop in, and then it would connect with another one. And then I would have a little bit more of a complete picture.
So I was like, I didn't know what to make of it. So I went to my bosses at Gaia and I said, David's got this guy and he wants to bring him in, and why don't we not commit to a show, just bring him in and talk to him and see, right? So a few weeks later, no, it was a little more than maybe a couple months later, actually, David brings him in. And we sit down and we have this 2 or 3 of us. I was never in upper management at Gaia. I never was like an officer of the company or anything. I was just production and head of
You're the
content.
creative guy.
Yeah. And so I was sitting with the upper management people and David and Corey. And Corey told his story, and David
Yes. This is some bullshit.
starts
Everybody
insisting
knows Mark Richards.
that he wants to do a show with the guy. A new show, not a disclosure. It has to be a new show.
A new
And
show?
I'm like, okay, I don't care. I just do what I'm told here. So it was decided to make it Cosmic Disclosure.
Oh, God.
So we play off the old Disclosure show. And then we decided to shoot, I don't know, like 15
4
shows.
seasons, 40
with
episodes.
Corey. And so we did the 15 shows over a 3 or 4 day period, which was rough. And then at the end of that, they were leaving, and me and the head of Gaia were saying goodbye to them. And then he looked at me and he said, they're coming back for 20 more shows in a week. We got in a big argument, and I said, I don't think we should do this. And Yurka really liked David a lot.
Oh, my God.
And,
Who the fuck is that
I
guy?
think he does, yeah, despite everything. And so I think he didn't want to lose David. It was the #1 show we had. So that we didn't want to do. Number 2, we did want David to have more income, but we had to find a way to do it without it affecting the other hosts, but giving him too much. And the story was intriguing enough to
Yes, Murph.
question it, because here's the thing.
Spooky.
This is really important. #1, we were a nascent corporation. We'd only been around for 3 years. So everybody was really naive, right? We were all idealistic.
Oh,
we thought we were going to change the world. Pioneers. I was probably the first and leading person thinking all this and probably telling everybody else this, that we're the badasses and we're going to go to the top and the whole thing.
But you wanted to do it the right way.
Yeah, and I did not. And so we got in this big argument, and I lost, of course. And I was told that you either do it or
you're gone.
Yeah. So I did it, and we brought Corey back, and we did another 20 shows.
35 shows with this
were
guy who thinks he's
agonizing
part
beyond
bird.
belief. Really, I mean, because with Corey, we couldn't just let him roll. He had to be heavily edited for two reasons. One, he wasn't that good of a storyteller. So we had to kind of put sentences around each other to get the story so it made sense.
Do you want to say something, Steph?
I'm just amazed that this guy is just like.
They did 15 episodes in I think a span of a day.
He's saying we just fucking lied to you about this guy.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that this is a lovely box. And look at how sparkly and glittery and twisty and curly the beautiful ribbons are. They're just beautiful. And the box is so well put together. You can't even see the tape that's keeping the wrapping paper on. Oh, hey, it's a big old steaming pile of shit inside. Merry Christmas.
And he presents as this like sweet, oh gosh, I got hornswoggle grandfatherly type. No, you knew exactly what you were doing all these years, and you knew this. He's like, and I was told no, and what could I do? You were part of it all. Like,
I also love the fact that there's like sigil. Are those sigils up on the monitor?
I think those are.
I was like, is that the Key of Solomon?
I was thinking it looks like when I play Skyrim, like some of my screens, but I look over at the sigil and yeah. It looks like when I'm walking around a brick room.
I just want to point out how this guy is very cleverly and somewhat carefully trying to say, like, yeah, we sold you a package of shit.
Yeah. But
and no regrets.
He wants
no
hands
regrets.
off, though.
Oh, no regrets.
No
regrets.
I made money.
I had no choice.
No choice, and I made money.
And two, he would
keeps
also
saying, but we
go
wanted
off on
David to
tangents,
make money. Poor
right,
David.
that didn't really have much to do with anything. And I think he was mad at us for editing him so heavily, but we had to.
To keep it interesting.
Yeah. So we would shoot an hour to get a half hour.
Timu Michael McDonald
Which
is
is
a
not
dick.
bad. It's
He
2
looks
to
pretty
1.
rough.
Pete Peterson.
Oh, yeah, Pete Peterson was 10 to 1 or 20 to 1. So then, and I'm not paid to believe people, right? I'm not paid to vet anybody. I'm paid to set up cameras, lighting, mic, get a good performance, make sure the thing's edited
Hands
right.
off, it's
That's
not
my
my
job.
fault.
This was strictly David and Corey coming up with the content.
And you're trying to make it look good.
Just trying to make it look good and credible,
Not my
right?
fault.
So, I told Corey to act humble right before the first show, right?
You're helping shape the character.
Yeah, I was trying to
son
show
of a
him
bitch.
that if he was boisterous and animated, it would probably come off as fake, not real. But if you were humble, then you would come off as the person telling us the truth.
See,
I didn't know if he's telling the
wasn't
truth.
I
or not.
just saying that?
And I will say this, I'm a very, very well-read person, and I'm
I'm a big,
especially
smart
well-read on
boy.
the internet, and there wasn't anything that I heard coming from him that I hadn't seen on the internet already. He's not as believable as he was.
He's washing his hands right there of it. It wasn't anything that wasn't out there already.
This is Chris Watts saying that he caught Shanann strangling his kids and that's why he strangled her. This is the Nazis at Nuremberg saying that they were just following orders. This is passing the buck. This is refusing to take, look, I'm not the only one that does this. Sassy does this. Tyler does this. Every single former I've ever talked to does this on a daily basis. We go back and we think, we take like a mental list of all the people that we hurt. And can we find those people? Can we fix it? And if we can't, what can we do to make it better? And this guy is sitting here doing double time to protect his ass. And okay, look, he's, I guess, technically a public figure, and lawsuits So I do.
Well, yeah, there was that
you know,
RICO lawsuit. I don't know how it resolved itself, but
you know,
I guess
so-
the documentary here will tell us.
But I mean that's the only valid excuse for these excuses. That's the only valid excuse if there's a lawsuit.
I think he would still do it because I think he's that
Yeah.
guy. Like they're in this world, that's the way they operate. Is what was I going to do?
I'm just asking.
My hands are tired.
questions.
I'm asking questions.
Just asking
And
questions.
I try not to come at it from I lost a loved one to QAnon and Pizzagate, but she still posts David Wilcock stuff. The Corey Goode stuff still shows up. Gaia TV stuff does. So am I a little bit more pissed off about this stuff? I am.
And you
Watching
know,
this
I
guy.
know-
Like I can watch
I
it for
know-
fun, but I'm like, don't act like you didn't have a hand in it.
I mean, I know everybody has a different life situation, and there are some things that people can't walk away from as easily. But during the congressional January 6th hearings, Jason Van Tatenhove said, I didn't care how we were going to survive. I had to leave the Oath Keepers. He said,
Yeah.
that. He said, I realized that I was risking my family starving or not having a home, but
Yeah.
I understood the depth of what I was in and how I had to leave. When I hear that, and then I hear these other people making excuses, there's no fucking excuse. If he did what he did, you can fucking leave.
Yep.
And these people have more money than he did when he left. So I'm sorry, but they're like, as I'm trying to analyze, and I know, like, I just went from, well, maybe he can't talk about it because I know I just flipped. I'm exploring these emotions.
We're
with
allowed
everybody
to.
as they
We're
happen.
allowed to. We are
But
allowed to.
And like I said, I do understand some people can't walk away from stuff, but this guy, the money he had, lawsuits, I don't care.
He looks like he's living pretty well. I think he could have walked away. The money was good at Gaia TV. The first thing, like, we have a Fire TV on my house, and it's connected to Amazon, you know, because of Fire TV. That's what it's through. And Gaia TV is right up there. They paid great money for advertising to try to get us to sign up for that as a station, as a thing. Like below all of our other apps, Gaia TV is one that's always constantly up there. And I'm like,
and they sell
fucking hell.
And I found yoga products by them in the CVS, like a block away from my house.
They're a problem.
And if I hadn't been like a QAA listener, if I hadn't like existed in this community, I wouldn't know. I even pointed out to some guy that was looking at their stuff. I'm like, don't buy that shit.
Yeah, it's everywhere. But if you don't realize, which, and again, I think there's some value to what we're doing here on Wednesdays, no matter what we look at, because we do take the time, we share resources, we do break it down. Some of it's fun. We have laughs. We've been laughing tonight, which is you needed, but we also break in with stuff like this, you know. And I think there's value to what we're doing Wednesdays. So I appreciate you, Steph, and I appreciate everybody watching with us.
I appreciate this opportunity for growth, and I'm sorry, and I have been just so neurotic the past few days.
Hey, I think we all are. We all have, and we deserve that too, to be neurotic, because we've been dealing with this for 8 years, and we have 4 more years, and gosh knows what it's going to be like after that. And
when he was on Gaia.
have you now, or have you ever pooped on Mars? I don't know. We'll have to ask this guy.
Cliff High said, I bear.
Sorry, this is Tubi. I can't get through the commercials. We're going to have to watch this. We can talk during the commercial.
Next big medical drama.
Have you seen their PG&E commercials?
You can watch the riveting episodes.
No, I haven't.
You can't leave her in the dark forever.
It's like a high executive in PG&E
together
talking supposedly talking to someone who lost their house in a fire that PG&E caused.
Oh my gosh.
It is the worst, shittiest propaganda I've ever fucking seen in my life.
I on BitChute, apparently Chuck Norris's wife had something, I don't know, but he has a new grift going on. Every video I watch on BitChute has a Chuck Norris grift with a life code or life number or something you can get. It's really sad.
And every time, like, I go on to like BitChute or Rumble to watch a video, like the commercial, it's always AI. It's always AI voice. And it's always, this is the cure for cancer. This will cure cancer right away. And I'm like, holy fuck.
Be
holy
good
fucking fuck.
because
we don't need that.
I did such a damn good job on the production. And I think he's right.
With the fact that I have 2 different shows every week on Gaia, half an hour a week,
it does get harder and harder to come up with something new
So I
that
had
people don't
to
already
fake
know.
Did you
Fake it to make it.
or Gaia vet Corey? Like check his sources and make
Nope.
sure that he was credible?
Well, I mean, I asked him questions. I asked him, like, one of the questions I asked is, did you ever have a restraining order ever put on you? I asked everybody I ever worked with. I always ask that question. And he said, no. That turned out not to be true.
So you didn't check. You
but
just
I couldn't-
asked him.
How am I going to vet that he, was
That's
taken to
a
a secret
weird, specific
classroom?
question.
And,
Yeah.
and how am I going to vet that he went up in a spaceship? How am I going to vet that a flying saucer landed in his backyard in the suburbs of Dallas, right? I go talk to the neighbors, and, he conveniently, says that they have some machine that puts everybody asleep, and they land, and the machine comes
Well, you
back
really
off, and
moved past
everybody
that,
wakes up, sort of like Dark
restraining
City,
order.
that movie. But you can't vet. How can you vet that? It was,
Yes.
in some ways, it
Let's
was the
all
perfect
use Dark City.
I
time,
know.
in a way.
Best
And
fucking films
all
of
of
the
David's insiders
Ugh.
told him that Corey was
Contact
the
in the
real
desert.
deal, right? And so I have my own insiders, and I went to them at that same time, and I said, this guy, Corey Goode, says that he's in the secret space program, and they all said, I don't think so.
Wait, they didn't bleep out secret space program that time. Was it one of their funnies? Because they were doing funny stuff before in this too.
Yeah, because they kept turning his head blue. So I'm wondering, like, are they like
Fucking with,
know.
yeah. It's like, wait, they didn't.
Right, I don't think so. I mean, I can't prove that he wasn't, but I don't think so. It doesn't sound like it. And one of my best insiders pointed out he watched a couple of them, and I asked him about it, and he said, Jay, you're telling me that this guy was, in a kind of a quasi-military? He doesn't act like he was in the military, not at all. He doesn't act at all like he was in the military. Just the way, his mannerisms.
To our friends that haven't been exposed to this before, will they understand? Is it for everybody?
Well, it will definitely shock them awake. It's meant to, as you watch it, the
Jordan
different
Sather,
sections
or is
have,
that Jordan Sather, or who's that little
video
squirrel?
each
Right back
episode.
here, hold on.
or portions that are they're
I think it's
in
Jordan.
a kind of a
Jordan Sather, or
quasi-military.
what's his name?
He doesn't act like he was in the
QAnon.
military, not at all. He doesn't act at all like he was in the military. Just the way, his
Right there.
mannerisms.
To our friends that haven't been exposed to this before, will they understand? Is it for everybody?
I think that's Jordan Sather.
well, it will definitely shock them awake. It's meant to, as you watch it, the different sections have little video entrance episodes or portions that are they're shocking.
Weak
voice,
voice,
buddy,
buddy.
yell.
Secret soldier, yell.
Guys in the military, man, they're confident. And they have a
that's
brashness about them, especially if
Jordan
they're
Sather.
lifers.
Above
And
majestic.
he didn't have any of that. But, people talk themselves into all sorts of stuff. And when you've been conned, you don't want to admit it.
You didn't know you were conned the entire time.
That's the
Shut up,
truth
dude.
of the matter. I mean, I'm admitting it that I got conned. That's really painful to admit it. I mean, I got totally taken by this guy, and a lot of other people did. Once again, I want to iterate and reiterate that David Wilcock is the reason that he got the show, because David said he had vetted him thoroughly, right, with all of his deep space
This guy's
insiders.
woe is me.
And
It's not-
I don't know
not
whether
awful at
that's
all.
true or not. The only one I ever met was Pete Peterson, and he said Corey wasn't telling the truth. So I don't know what to say, right?
Well, Pete Peterson got one thing right.
And I've never had any of David's
Even a broken
deep
clock, right?
space insiders ever come up to me and say anything about Corey. So I don't know. You ever
Corey
notice
looks
that
like
David's
he was-
predictions never come true? As
Oh,
soon as
that's sure
Trump got
David.
elected, David started telling everybody that their mass arrests were due.
The cabal coming unraveled before our eyes, mass arrests, 13,000 indictments taking place, 13,000 slots being cleared up in Guantanamo for prisoners.
He's cheering on that people are not going to be allowed due process. They're not going to be able to be allowed to, deny
and
defend themselves. They're going to be all just thrown in jail. Say, we can't do that, because we don't want to live in a country like that. I mean, really,
Says a guy who thought
a
the
country
ark
where
was a
it's just
weapon.
anybody can throw somebody in jail
Fuck
without
outta
due
here, dude.
process, and so I would get on on the shows, and I would get on comments, and I would say,
"Yep,
this guy's calling for fascism."
Can you tell me about the conferences that David and Corey did subsequently to the first shows?
You may not have written Mein Kampf, but you sold it in your fucking bookstore.
Yep. Helped sort of build their character and garner more fame for them.
He was going to have a conference in August of 2017 at Mount Shasta called Eclipse of Disclosure, I think
Mount
it's called.
Shasta.
And they had asked 2 or 3 people to be the keynote speaker, and everybody said no. Richard Dolan said no, and everybody turned him down. Everybody credible. And I, had planned to go to Wyoming and see the total eclipse, and with a bunch of friends, and it was going to be a really good time. And we had a place right at ground zero at the eclipse, and maybe a week before the conference. And I get a phone call from Corey's assistant, Roger, and he says, will you speak at the conference? Be the keynote speaker on Saturday night.
Gosh golly,
I
guess
no way,
I will.
Dude, I'm going to be at the eclipse, total at ground zero. And he's got really pissed off at me and slammed the phone down, which he does with me all the time. A couple of days go by, and all of a sudden, one of the upper people at Gaia is standing outside my office door. This person sits down and says, so you were asked to be the keynote speaker at the conference in Shasta. I said, yeah, I turned it down, but yeah. He goes, why did you turn it down? And I said, I got plans on the eclipse, to go watch it with my friends. Yeah, we got RV and tons of beer, and we're gonna have a really good time.
I bet
right?
you it was just tons of beer.
And he said, no, you're not going. I said, what do you mean? He says, you got to go to speak at the conference. I said, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with my job. This is outrageous, right? And he said, no, you will do it. And I said, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And he said, Corey is threatening to quit if you don't.
Boy, they really sunk everything into Corey.
All my friends and my wife all went up to Wyoming and had a really good time, I understand. I saw the video. And I went to Shasta, where there was a raging fire going. I couldn't even, if you held your hand out to here, you couldn't see your hand. It was so smoky. And I spent 3 days in this incredibly smoke-filled environment, coughing for 2 weeks after I got out of it. And I gave the keynote speech on alchemy.
Who else was there?
Nobody famous. Michael Salla was there.
Wonderful to see so many here from last year's conference, and so many new people.
Did you know that most ET civilizations are extremely quiet?
Jordan Sather, Valerie's sister.
Jordan Sather
was there. The woman that's involved in the lawsuit, Alicia Montalbano, was there. Jimmy Church was there.
And David Wilcock.
No, David Wilcock wasn't there.
David didn't
he got to go actually have a good time.
Yeah, he was having a good time in Wyoming. But this was really the beginning of the end, that conference. Roger came up to me near the end of the conference and gave me a check for $5,000, right? I looked at the check and I went like this. You can have your blood money. Because at that point, I knew something was wrong.
I would need to see the real check to believe that.
Is that I was at the conference, I just gotten there, and Michael Salla came running up to me. He said, Jay, I want to introduce you to somebody.
No, I don't think he's lying. I think he just has so much money that 5,000 doesn't matter.
Big guy, 6 foot 3.
You know what? Good point.
Built, big guy. Because this is Michael Gersten. I say, hi. He goes, he was in the secret. And I go, oh,
they bleeped it out again.
So I looked at him and I was like, you know what? He actually does look like he was in the secret space.
Oh my
right?
God.
He looks like a Marine, right? So I said, well, what's your story?
What
so he tells me, I was in the Marines, and
an imaginary
they took me into this room.
I don't know.
And they said,
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
made me sign a
like
bunch of contracts and stuff. And then I got disappeared. And for 15 years or whatever, I was in the secret space. And now I'm out, and I'm starting to remember things.
There is a program where they will take you out to work for 20 years in space. They have time travel capability, which they got from extraterrestrials. They bring you back to the time you left, and then they age and rest your body. So you get dialed back to the age you were when you left. And then they block out that 20 years of your memory as much as they can and try to splice it together so you don't remember leaving. So apparently some people are having this happen to them. And Corey is one of the very few who, like 3%, I think 3 to 5%,
3 to 5% of the
actually
world.
get total recall where they
3 to
remember
5%
what they
super
did.
Soldiers.
No shit.
So he's had 3 of these 20 and back tours, which technically makes you like 106 years old.
Fuck out of here.
But officially, I turn 48 here in a couple weeks.
Anyway, so I'm like, oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. I said, would you be willing to come to Gaia and be interviewed, right? So he said, yeah, I think about it. I could do that. So I said, oh, cool. And Corey walked by. And I said, hey, Corey, come here. And Corey walks over and I say, Corey, do you know Michael? He goes, no. I go, this is Michael Gersten. I believe that's his name. And he's in the secret space program, man. Right? Fully expecting, just like if I'd had 2 Iraqi war vets.
Yep,
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, did you know Sergeant Thompson? Yeah, that asshole. You know, something like that, right? I was fully expecting that kind of thing to happen. And Corey just went like that. You know, when I said, you turn on and walk right away without even saying hi or shaking his hand or anything. And I thought, that is not what you would do. That is not what you would do. I got a lot of friends in the military. That is not what you would do. The first thing you would do is find out if that guy is a BS artist. Oh, yeah, where were you stationed? Yeah, do you remember this guy? Do you remember that? And then when the guy starts coming up with the right, then it's, hey, bud, how you doing, right? You bro,
So do you think
right? And you become good buddies, right? But you have that one moment where you're testing each other always, right, to make sure that the guy's on the level. But this didn't happen. Right? And I said, what do you make of that, Michael? And he goes, I don't know. I wanted to talk to him.
The mind of a
right?
child.
And he was really hurt. So I was really befuddled. So about 3 weeks later, I fly him in without telling Corey and David, right? So they come onto this into the studio, and there's Michael Gersten. And I go, hey, Corey, I know you were really busy at that conference and you couldn't spend any time talking to Michael. So I brought him in so you can spend all the time you want with him. And Corey's like completely freaking out, right? You do the show. It was terrible. It was David and Corey did 4 shows.
Oh, and he was thrown off.
Oh, completely. We couldn't even use him. And then we went to lunch. I brought Michael with me. And I sat him right across from Corey, right? And, you know, and I said, okay. Started watching, right? And nothing happened. Nothing. Wouldn't talk to
him. The secret space
at all.
program isn't
Michael's
fucking
like,
real.
hey, Corey, I really like you. I like your show. And, you know, I was in the secret space program too. And,
children.
right. And David and him would look at each other and eat. So that then at the end of the lunch, I go
but I don't deny
to Corey
I'm a
and
child.
David to call him aside.
Yes, Mur.
What the heck
He
was
spent
that
all that time harassing that
right?
dude.
Really embarrassing. We spent like $1,000 to fly this guy here and put him in the hotel, and you guys won't even talk to him.
$1,000
And
to
David
do
goes,
this.
he's a disinformation agent. I said, David, I never told you that I was bringing him in. How do you know that? How do you know I even told you his real name? You didn't have any time to check on that. You've been here. I've seen you the whole 4 hours that you've been here. You didn't have any time to get on the phone and check with anybody if he's a disinformation agent. How do you know that? I says, I just know it. I just know it. And Corey, yeah, he's a disinformation. I said, how do you know, Corey, that
Oh
he's
my
a
God,
disinformation
David, that
agent?
forehead.
Because I just know he is. I just know he is. I said, you guys are disparaging this poor guy and calling him names, and you won't even talk to him. And that was it. That was from then on. I was like, I'm really worried that I'm dealing with something that's way worse than I ever dreamed, right?
In what way?
That there's nothing true about it. Michael was acting right,
He is
but Corey
Mark.
wasn't. And that told me, and they already knew he was a disinformation agent when they didn't even know him.
Right.
So I knew something was way off at that point. And just as an aside, at this stage, I'm starting to get really sick. I'm extremely nauseated. I'm dizzy. I'm having trouble
poisoned
sleeping.
him.
Probably plutonium.
I'm getting sick, right? Getting
Why
really
can't I say
sick,
that?
actually.
These could
And
also be
so,
symptoms of a soul
the
or
Michael
a human
thing really
empathy.
threw me off. And so Jason Rice had
Oh my
written
God,
me
why can't I say it?
an
Say it for me,
email
Steph. The Russians
telling me that he
poisoned
worked at
stuff.
Cape Canaveral and he was
I
an
broke you
engineer
now.
or something, and that he had bona fides, right? Unlike everybody else, this guy actually had experience, right? And that he was in the secret space program. So I said, well, let's bring you in, right?
All right, guys, so let's get
broke my head.
Dr. Larson has no recollection of the last 8 years.
Doc is TV's best.
I wish I had no recollection of the last 8
You can watch
years.
it anytime.
I will be. Me too. No, fuck. I can hear it in my head.
Pleurisy.
Pleurisy of the lungs. Pleurisy of the heart. Plutonium. No, that's fuck. I'm getting closer. Roger Stone had it.
Pornomium. It's a new.
Perennium?
It's a new.
Perineum.
That tain't what I'm talking about. God, that was bad.
Oh, that was a good one.
Secret Space Program Insider a couple of days ago.
So
let's hear
the Michael thing
Jordan
really
say
threw
that.
me off.
I was like,
And
a
so
savior
of
Jason
humanity.
Rice had written me an email telling me that he worked at Cape Canaveral and he was
They did.
An engineer or something, and that he had bona fides, right? Unlike everybody else, this guy actually had experience, right? And that he was in the
He
secret
believes
space
in the
program.
secret space
So I
program.
said, well,
He just admitted
let's
as
bring
much.
you in, right?
All right, guys, so let's get into Gaia bringing out their new supposed Secret Space Program Insider a couple of days ago on September 25th. So Gaia, the self-proclaimed conscious Netflix, on their Cosmic Disclosure program, brought forth a guy that goes by the name Jason Rice. He was interviewed by Jay Widener. And in about an episode and a half, Jason Rice put out these claims that he had been in a part of grooming programs from his youth for black projects, that he had been taken to an underground base and tunneled and portaled somewhere. And they even did a hypnotic regression of him on camera to try to prove his legitimacy. Now, what's really interesting about this is that Cosmic Disclosure, that show was started a few years ago by Corey Goode and David Wilcock. Now, recently, Corey and David are out of Gaia. So questions on this? Yes, they are no longer there. So being that Gaia still has the intellectual property rights to that Cosmic Disclosure show, this is the first batch of new people that they're bringing out on it. And let me tell you, I am not
That's 'cause
getting
you're their
good
buddies.
vibes from this. It's not resonating with me at
You
all.
and David and
So I
Corey
bring
are
in
like
Jason
this.
Rice, who's a really, really sweet guy. And the same thing happens.
What happens?
You were lied to?
Again, I don't tell them that I'm bringing him in. So they don't know his name. They don't know anything about him. I'm doing that on purpose, right? He's in the
Seems
control
like a
room
pattern.
again, just like Michael
Right.
was. They come in, say, this is Jason Rice. Corey and David, he was in the secret space program. They both get the deer in the headlights look, completely ignore him. They do their show. Corey's completely thrown off again, right? And at this stage, I don't care. I remember it like the back of my hand. And so we go out to lunch. They won't talk to him, not one word, nothing. And then I call him into my office after lunch. I said, what was that all about? And again, he's a disinformation agent. I say, you don't even know his real name.
The Dark Alliance.
I just called him Jason. I didn't tell you his
Wait,
last name.
I wanted to read that. I have decided to this turn.
This is just fan fiction. These are just
Directed
a bunch
by the
of
cabal.
What the fuck?
Oh my goodness.
Look, no, I just want to point out that you can't make the statement unless you roll 20 for charisma.
Yes. Yeah.
I
think
don't
they
really
rolled-
know.
No. They didn't roll that D20.
These are people who mistook their 100-sided dice for candy and choked on it long enough to lose oxygen to vital parts of their brain. And now they think that every fucking comic book they ever read is real.
I think we did.
But
We opened the fanfic.
You have to realize that this is impossible because according to Asimov's laws of robotics.
That's Alex Jones's favorite thing. According to Asimov.
How can you know this? I mean, Google face recognition wasn't around then. I was like, how is it possible that you guys know this? And they couldn't answer me, right? At
Oh, they
that
knew I was going
stage,
to read
the
that.
whole
They made it
bridge
up.
collapsed on me into the
They made
water,
it up.
and I knew that this was much worse than I ever dreamed. And I
Cabal agents
started
and ufology.
making comments at the managers' meetings at that point. I said very famously,
Satanist?
because Corey was still the apple of the eye of everybody. Everybody loved him and everything. And I said, I got to tell you guys, there's like 14
Anybody
people
like him?
all making a lot more money than me, right? And I said, Corey Goode is radioactive. If you continue touching him, we're going to die. I said, as clear as I can be. And I got laughter. I got laughed at. So on January 20th, I was diagnosed with massive colon cancer and brought into emergency surgery, where I stayed in the hospital for a week and a half. And
let me guess,
while I was in the hospital, I
he had
decided
no
I no
idea that the
wanted
cancer was
to work
dangerous.
at
He had
Gaia any
nothing to
longer,
do.
that I don't know how much time I had left. And so
Should have had a
after I
remote
got out of
healing.
the hospital, I
Can't believe he believes in
told
hospitals and
managers
medical
that,
science.
I wanted to wind my way out of here.
Yeah,
that they certainly didn't want to produce Corey Goode show anymore, and they decided that I wasn't going to at that point anyway, because I was sick, right? So they hired somebody else to do it, thank goodness. And
that was his come to Jesus
so I left
moment.
in late August.
I might die.
As they go out. Okay, let's maybe go up here and maybe if you can show me kind of the outline, the
Unbelievable.
area where it kind of transitions.
They actually made this bird.
A little bit.
Bird person. He's recreating what they look like, the blue avians.
Further down on the eyes.
Well, at the beginning, they didn't seem like red flags, although I did know
Howard the
everything
Duck.
that he said. I could find a source on the internet.
Get the fuck
except
out
for
of here,
the blue,
dude.
But I found that source
It looks
later
like
too.
Howard
It's
the
Bonnie
Duck.
Myers. But yeah,
It
so
does.
in that
A sexy
milieu
Howard the
of
Duck.
naivete and idealism, he came and carved out a role that we thought, had viability, at least at the beginning. And
It was a
I think
moneymaker,
that
say
all the
it.
way up until the very end,
I didn't
think
care if it was true or not.
everybody
Be
in upper
honest.
management believed.
Do you see
this
that
was,
box from the Italian
crusade
shipping
for good
company?
and everything, and
Ah.
it was
Fred
only me
Gile.
because I led the most experience working
That
with these
part of that
guys.
movie makes my
that
dad
the
crack up
facade
every year
was
we
falling
watch it.
apart
He
for
laughs
me,
so hard.
and the whole last year that I produced the show, which would be all of 2017, I had like no interest in doing the
QAnon
show.
too far for
I
you?
was mocking it behind
That
the
was too
scenes,
far.
and
Fascism?
I began pattern
That
recognition.
you helped
So I
build a bridge
knew
to?
what the show was going to be. I knew you were
Pattern
never going to be able to
recognition.
trace down anything that was being said. I knew there'd be no evidence for anything that was being said. It was just the same pattern over and over and over and over. And it would not have mattered if he had resigned or not from Gaia. That show is on its way down. So the previous employer, and I'd asked him when I vetted him if he'd had a restraining order against him. He said no. So now
But
I
we
find
didn't do
out,
a criminal background check.
2018 that he actually did. Yeah, and so he, you can never get a job again if you have a restraining order against you and you come try to work for me.
It's a criminal.
And I tell the insurance company that insures everybody at my job that you've got a
Why is there
restraining
so
order put
focused
against
on
your
restraining
last
order
job.
and not criminal
Or so you hire
background?
him.
So
We're
that's why
insuring
he's
you,
asking people
right?
these
So
questions.
no way they're going to do it.
But if the company really did require notification of restraining orders or stay away or protection from abuse orders, then just asking them, that would be like
The lowest
look,
bar
I
possible?
don't agree with employee drug testing for a lot of the jobs, but that would be like me saying, Shelby, you want to work for Steph Co? Yeah. All right. You do drugs? Nah. You're hired. You're
As I
hired.
sit there doing, well, this is my Juul, not my vape, but yeah, that would be like me going no and right to your face vaping in it. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just ask because these protective orders, and and if you've had a restraining order or anything, it's a very serious thing, and you're creating. And obviously, at some point, there was a reason in this insurance or whatever, and perhaps at Gaia TV or somebody that they had worked with them, a reason they had to ask these questions to protect themselves as a
I
company.
will bet you they did, because they probably got in a lot of these yoga influences who use the yoga to attract the women and then just abuse the shit out of them.
Yes.
That's probably why, because the yoga, we've seen this. I mean, spirituality has covered this amazingly well. how so many of the people in the wellness community are just fucking abusers.
Yeah.
So that this checks out.
And he
In
did the bare minimum.
2017, when QAnon started getting bigger and bigger, and assholes like this were latching on to it, like this is going to be our big ticket, and they're like, oh, maybe this might be scary, but they're Gaia and other people like them are the ones that
laid the groundwork for it all,
for QAnon. Yeah.
You can trace it
Yeah,
all when you
so-
see all the movies and the content he was putting out and everything, because QAnon is the whole umbrella that brings every conspiracy theory together. But they laid the groundwork for all of this stuff to come that has happened. You know, Q brought together a lot of this stuff by picking this piece and that piece, you know, but they're the pieces that were out there for Q to use and to propagate.
Yeah.
And to say, look here, look there. Well, what if these children, have you heard about this? You know,
it's absolutely disgusting. And a lot of the stuff with the secret space program, the stuff that I've heard in the past, it does revolve around like abducting children into the program when they're very, very young.
And sometimes
So-
it involves abuse. I've heard some of that stuff before too. Like
this is all very similar to the Project Monarch shit Arizona Wilder and Kathy O'Brien talked about. And if you listen to the most recent episode of QAA, Travis does mention Kathy O'Brien. I was very excited about that. These are all crazy people. I mean, whether they truly believe this stuff or not, they're still crazy, because even if you don't believe it and you're selling it cynically to people, that still makes you crazy.
Exactly. And they did it. They did. Gaia is 100% complicit in what we're dealing with today.
Right.
Whether they intended to or
He can
not,
never get a
they
job
are.
again.
So
Yeah.
he's
packaged as more
only
family
ever going to
friendly.
get a job by
It's
creating
slick
his
and
own
family
business.
friendly.
Yep. You can never work for any, well,
Presentation.
substantial. You get a job at McDonald's, but no substantial job ever again. And he knew it. And that was probably the motive behind the whole thing, is what are you going to do? Right? It's like, don't get a restraining order from your employer. That's the
Get a
worst
restraining
black
order
mark
from
on
an
your
employer. Wow.
employment record you can ever get.
Don't get a
Jason
restraining
Rice
order from
appeared
anyone.
on Cosmic Disclosure, which would be in March of 2018. That's when Jason Rice lost his job. Somebody pressured his employers, and we don't know who.
But there was a lot of brigading of emails.
Yeah, and Jason Rice lost his 20-plus year
Maybe
job.
for pretending to be a secret space soldier.
And
Where
when
was he working?
Cape Canaveral, in Florida. And he went to his boss and said, "Why are you firing me?" And the boss says, "I can't tell you."
How did he manage to work there for 20 years?
Yeah.
So,
And Jason Rice disappeared, and we've never seen him again.
do you think Jason was subject to a cyber sort of brigading attack where group members?
There was a lot of that going on. It was very mysterious, but
Maybe
there was
he
a
was
lot
fucking
of
shamed.
doxing going on.
Yeah,
Joe
properly.
from the Carolinas had a really funny show on YouTube. He was a psychiatrist at a cancer center. He almost lost his job from some outside pressure. He was criticizing David and Corey
If you
heavily.
show your face on
making fun
TV,
of
you're
them,
easily
really.
doxxed.
And
That's
he
QAnon.
disappeared.
That's QAnon
And so
shit the
it's
guy's
effective.
talking
They
about.
disappear. Joe from the Carolinas is gone. Jason Rice
And
is
he's a
gone.
fucking
So it's
psychiatrist.
effective.
One such story from these efforts to hurt those who would be critical of Corey is that of Yvonne Palermo. Yvonne is an Arizona-based artist who, after recovering from a brain injury, began working with Corey and his producers on the Full Disclosure
I've seen
Project.
her on other
During
stuff.
this time, she would help lay the
Brain
foundations of
injury!
Corey's organization
Brain
and
injury!
contribute to the early stages of the groups associated with Corey, such as the Full Disclosure Project, Full Disclosure Now, and Stillness in the Storm, run by Justin Deschamps.
Look at that.
When she first joined, she was welcomed into the Full Disclosure Project by Roger Richards, Corey's manager. He positioned it as a group of special individuals working towards the effort of full disclosure. After a short while, she would interview him on her internet radio
Laura
show.
We must
Eisenhower,
explain
she's
to
very famous
ourselves
in
that
conspiracy.
I am ready to know the truth
Groovy
and
Bean.
embrace each other as we take
I like that
one
name.
step closer each day toward full disclosure now. So my friends, welcome, welcome. If you're just tuning in, we are going to bring on the one and only Emma Goode. Emma Goode, are you there?
I am here. Yeah, who I am is not really important. It's more about the message and the movement. And Emma Goldman is a matriarch that I've always just really connected to. You know, she is kind of looked at as the birth of, you know, the woman who contributed to the birth of modern day anarchism. And it's something that's been close to my heart, you know, most of my life. And she's a matriarch. And I believe right now that women in particular have a strong calling to kind of bring their power back into the world right now.
Corey used my name as like a, you know, he was my manager. I was never fucking Corey's manager. I was a producer that was working with him, but I worked with so many other people in other projects. He's just like anybody else in that space. You know, I did work with him, you know, on a lot of projects associated with him.
He's trying to skirt responsibility for shit that he's probably done, and just like
you have to have a strict compartmentalization with every single one of these personalities out the door with an agreement right out the door, and you need to record every single conversation you need to have with them.
She began working closer with this group and became a member of many of the publicly affiliated groups online. In late 2016, she would pitch the idea of a current news segment, and sure enough, within about a week, Jordan Sather would arrive on the scene doing exactly that, and touting himself as the media director for the FDP.
Shout out to my boy Bryson for the track, man. You black, but you with your MAGA hat. What is that? That's what we call originality. A great awakening is what we need in our mentality. A change of personality from hating to loving, compassion in society rather than pushing and shoving.
This
and a
is so
change
bad.
where we seek the truth. That
Compassion
doesn't
and
come from authority,
love.
but from inside
Yes,
of you.
I feel the love.
So do you
But
hear
put
the call?
kids
You
in
gonna wake up
cages.
now and let your fellow man fall? Will you work for good or will you drop the ball? Remember where we go one, we go all.
Yvonne would feel betrayed by this decision and quit her role immediately. In the wake of this, she would be attacked online by various acolytes of the FDP, including alleged death threats and kidnapping threats. A big problem that she sees with this period of time was the direct support Corey and David were getting from Jimmy Church, a former syndicated radio show host, and the support that they were getting from Gaia.com, whose funding, the money that they were paid for doing their shows on the website, was used to create these organizations.
I've worked with everybody at this table. I've worked with all of them. Nassim and I, a couple of years ago, I hosted with Nassim.
Feel the love in Trump's executive orders.
Yes,
Looking at that
dripping with
crowd
love.
and
You can just
and
see it.
how big it is and the focus and where we have come since then to
Jordan
today.
Sather's the
We have
fucking worst. I
50,000
hate
people
him.
out here in downtown Los Angeles walking around, awakened, awoke, changing vibration, knowing that we were right. Give yourselves a round of applause.
I know.
Is going to lead a conversation.
That even the movies that we have don't give you enough creative to really understand how awesome this is.
Corey's approach and Roger's approach has been a multimedia, whether it's YouTube, it's online, it's graphic
I
novels.
can't imagine knowing I'm lying this
it's a
much
huge
every. I would be so
presence,
stressed
and
with this amount of
also,
lies.
Coming on
upon
the
my
air
chest to the
with
world,
me, not
to
only on
people.
Coast to Coast AM, but
I
Fade
would
to
be
Black.
sick.
For me to be the guy who's had all these guys that were my friends and nobody else was
feel
talking to
bad
them but me,
because
and I'm seeing this big.
And I'll admit this for people to hear. The first time I was interviewed on a podcast about having been a 9/11 truther, I didn't mention anything about Sandy Hook. And I had said something like, oh, I was never a no-planer. I lied about that. And I still feel bad about that.
Yeah, but you came.
And that was my first time talking about, so I was really.
But it was hard
was
to talk
scared.
about. You were scared, and you've progressed, and that's the progression of formers. You keep progressing as you go along. You learn, and
But
you
I
do
mean,
great work.
I still get on it.
I know, and I don't think
like-
you should. I don't think you should.
But I don't.
You have to have
I
some forgiveness
can't-
there.
I would have never pushed a conspiracy theory that I didn't actually believe, and that doesn't make it right. But the stuff that I believe was because I believed it, and it's like
You truly believed the stuff that the influencers and content creators were putting out there for you to see. You didn't create the stuff yourself. It was put out there for you to consume.
But you do, but there does become.
But I mean, you wholeheartedly believed it. What I'm saying is,
right,
people like Jordan Sather and Corey Goode and David Wilcock, I don't think they truly believe this. They're in it for the grift. They know what they're doing. They're actively harming people.
And
the people that come across their stuff and then believe it.
And it's just, I can't imagine, like, and again, like I said earlier, like, we have a tendency to judge other people based on our own moral compass.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't, it's like even stuff that I keep to myself that doesn't harm anyone or nobody has any way of knowing about. I just like if I get an email and I don't feel like answering at the time that I see it, I don't have to answer it at the time. No one's going to know that, but I feel like I'm being dishonest or something.
I feel guilty about stuff like that too. I think that's human nature, but I think, you know, that's why I like these people. Like I say, like I've never been a good liar. Like even like white lies, like I'm brutally honest to a fault, but I try to soften it, you know, of course. But like I would be sweating, I would be sick. I would be like wanting to throw up. Like I couldn't do this. Like I just would never be a good grifter. I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't do it.
And it's like when just like some of these people that are bold enough to think that, and I know they're not admissible in court, but a lot of people in the conspiracy community use like polygraphs and stuff like that.
I know.
If you really believe what you're telling the polygraph tester, you will pass it. You know, hasn't anyone seen Basic Instinct? You know,
exactly. If you don't have the stress responses to it, you'll be fine. You can sit there and not sweat. Your heartbeat's not going to race. Nothing. You'll be absolutely calm and cool.
And if you want to have a lot of fun, watch the Chris Watts video of him taking the polygraph.
It's beautiful.
She right off the bat, she's like, "Okay, we have to do another baseline."
I know.
The only
She's
thing
like,
he answered truthfully was his name.
She's like, Chris, I know you're lying to me. It's
But,
so
I mean,
good.
and-
It's a master class.
It's really,
Yeah.
it was for a
These
long time,
people-
it was kind of like you have to take my word for it. And you guys are here because you did take my word for it. And so I want to thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay? All these different people are saying the same stuff. And that the story, the big story, I'm sorry, there's so much feedback. It's not my fault. It's that there's so much. We're still a niche. We're still a little fringe here. And so what we need to do is we need to break this thing out of just being a fan of Divine Cosmos and Gaia and into something where you get this little truth bullet that just encapsulates so much. And it's like planting a seed of this total disclosure movement that we're working on.
You just tell the story and we'll sell that online.
There you go.
That's what you did.
Whatever it was, I don't know who was doing it.
Bullet.
Next. Right this second, at some movie theater somewhere.
Disgusting.
Popcorn and
Like they're so the willingness just to outright lie to people and just sit there and smirk and laugh and joke and just it's no big deal. Whatever. I don't have it in me. I don't know.
I can't. And now we're watching a commercial for probiotic soda, which I encourage you to look up the skeptical information about probiotics, how they could actually be very dangerous.
Really? I don't take them. I've never been
what's that fucking tea?
Probiotic tea?
The alcoholic tea, kombucha.
I've never heard of that one.
Like when you're consuming stuff that like they use kombucha as a specific example because it's basically a tea that's brewed with bacteria, and if it isn't done the right way, you could get really
sure can
sick. And I'm still like reeling from the fact that I've dodged so many bullets because when I used to clean for this fucking anti-vax person. Like, she made her own kombucha and she gave me raw milk once.
Really?
And
Oh,
I was too stupid, you know.
You're just like, oh, have
to
some
know.
milk. Why not? Num num
Yeah.
num. You survived. You're woo.
Of supposedly a doxing session.
A doxing
I have
session?
an audio clip of one of Corey's
that is
women,
bad.
Joy, telling the group that we're going to do all of this really nasty stuff. We can't let anybody know that Corey is the one giving the
Of course,
order.
it's all on Facebook.
Okay, so then it's essentially been asked if anyone can, we're going for broke, without it getting back to Sphere Being Alliance, Corey, or putting yourselves in a bad way. We need to get the public records into circulation on Facebook and start calling Emery out directly, and maybe even insinuate that he could be Jem.
What's
This
Jem?
will get Patty's attention, who will run with it.
And the
a lot of
holograms.
people will run with it if we just
Oh, I
start
love Jem
putting
and the
what's
hologram.
public out there.
Not the movie. Fuck
Even
that
without
movie.
attaching your own judgments to it, but get the documentation circulating. It's going to be too much for them to keep
See,
up with.
this is
but-
is a doxing brigade. This is let's ruin this guy's reputation, and you will find that more and more and more because of social media. I have Facebook. I only have it on my laptop. I very rarely go in on there because after reading, I mean, I already had a bad feeling before, but after reading some of those Sandy Hook transcripts and
Mhm.
realizing that that is the ultimate representation of what Facebook is, I can't.
I haven't used it. I barely used it in the past year plus. And then I finally told everybody because they kept sending me messages or texts and stuff. And why, you haven't been on Facebook. Are you okay? Facebook isn't life. No. And finally I posted, not using Facebook anymore. I still have Messenger. If you want to get a hold of me, you have my phone number and you can text me. Why is Facebook the end all to be all to you people? Like, I don't get it.
And here, this, I have the perfect catchphrase. Facebook, the place where you go to watch people you know in real life lose their fucking minds.
Yeah. And I don't want that in my life. People, but of course this shit's going on there. I mean, no wonder because it's happening in
worse.
real life. People are doing that. Like,
But
I mean,
it-
they're
but
real life
it's
people, but I
harder.
mean, not conspiratorial people are doing the same shit.
But it's harder to watch the people that we know or knew go through this. It's because it's personal and it hurts. And for me, I know that makes me sound like a giant pussy, but
No, I can't watch it either. I couldn't watch it. Especially after
there
Trump
are
got
some
elected.
things-
I couldn't watch it anymore. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I have to, or it's going to destroy me. And knowing everything that these people are thinking, that I care and love, that they think this or that about these groups of people, or that Trump's the end all to be all and stuff. Like, I've got to get through these 4 years. Like, somehow I've got to. I just can't look at this stuff. I don't have time to weed through friends, family, and everything. Right? Mentally, I can't take it.
Yeah, I don't have time for fucking conspiracy stalkers on Facebook and fucking losers with
Thus far, Corey Goode had the idea for the Titanic one with Yurka. So that was one, and that's targeting him. And then the other would be targeting, the other shills and dark journalists.
Dark journalists, ooh.
Kind of open to ideas there. It sounds like you've already done a really great one, Ron. I can't wait to see it.
Oh my gosh, she's so giddy
Did
about this.
anyone post that article in Fade to
She's like,
Black? I'm
"Oh."
sorry, I'm not seeing it. And that's the one group we'd have really helped to have. Anyone, please. Thank you. Deborah's not doing it. Anyone, Rob, just forward that on Stellar article. Please, Fade to Black, I can't do it because I'm too close. Thank you so much. I love you guys. This guy's really tipping me off. Richard, thank you.
My God.
Anyone who
came up against
Corey Goode suddenly found themselves on the back end of a horrible campaign to destroy their reputation. Everybody,
Children.
including me.
Jesus Christ.
Everybody. Richard Dolan,
I know.
Jimmy Church, who turned on him. Everybody. And you could see it was systemic. So
And
as
people
soon as
believe
Jason
them.
Rice came out, he was given a restraining order by Corey, and then he lost his job, right? and there was a pattern going on here.
Pay attention right here.
So how could he
Look
file
at
a
the
restraining
words.
order against Jason Rice in the state of Colorado?
Unnecessary capitalization is another hallmark trait of conspiracy theorists.
Uh-huh.
And I don't mean common mistakes like how some people will like there's capital S Satanism and lowercase.
Well, like panic
That's-
mode. Normal people wouldn't capitalize panic mode.
And what this is this is part of the self-importance, very special person like trait that infuses itself in your mind, where things have to be all caps, things have to be bolded, things have to be, unnecessary capitalization of words to make it sound official, to make it real.
Oh,
If it
yeah. And it sticks
looks
out because what words
real-
are you drawn to? You're drawn to Dark Alliance, Panic Mode,
Alliance.
Dark Alliance, Gaia, Sid Goldberg. Like, it sticks
And-
out.
And look, remind people of the Civil War.
Yeah.
They tried. Civil War should not be capitalized there because
No.
it's referring to an event, not a specific historical event. And they did that correctly. So
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
That's very telling. I'm glad I caught that Civil War thing.
Good point. That's an excellent.
Just
that's
that
really
Jason
good.
Rice can't talk about the secret space program stuff because Corey
Someone
owns
else
the
trademark. Now you
trademark.
have me picking it out.
Corey applied for the trademark secret space program, blue. So every time you use the word, you
I
have to
love
give
the
him
way
money.
they bleep out
right?
funny shit. Just
So that's the basis of the Gaia lawsuit. Is Gaia uses those words a lot, right? So Gaia would have to pay Corey hundreds of thousands of dollars.
What's the basis of the lawsuit?
And
Hold on, I was
so-
laughing.
In the
He
state
really
of
did
Colorado?
trademark it.
Just that Jason Rice can't talk about the secret space program stuff because Corey owns the trademarks. Corey
Better
applied
tell Carrie Cassidy.
for the trademarks secret space program, blue. So every time you use the word, you have to give him money, right? So that's the basis of the Gaia lawsuit. Is Gaia uses those words a lot, right? So Gaia would have to pay Corey hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so that's why it'll never be settled out of court. Gaia can't afford to ever settle it.
Why did you start Reality Check?
Really?
I started Reality Check
Oh, get
because
the fuck
of
out of
all
here.
this. Corey was saying all these nasty things about me. Wasn't Corey. Somebody out in the internet.
In his group.
Yeah, saying all these. I knew it was him because some of the incidences happened just between him and I.
Because
So I
I'm
knew
a
it was
masochist.
him,
Look at me
right?
writing it down.
So I said to myself,
I listened to
gotta
all
find
of their
some way
bullshit so
that I
much.
can
That's
put
why
a
I know
check
all
on
the
all
drama.
this and,
I'm a masochist. Let me
and
write this
fight back
podcast
some
down.
way. And I met Yvonne Palermo, who had been a victim of Corey, and she said, "Well, why don't we?" And I said, "I have a YouTube channel. I never use it." She said, "Well, let's go and do a show." So we were going to do one show. We'd talk about the whole thing, right? And so we did one show. It was like an hour and a half long, a huge hit show, 40, 50,000 views in a couple of weeks, right? And put the show out, and I wasn't going to do any more. That was it. I said, okay, I did my say. But then Corey went crazy.
What did he say?
He said, Jay Wider's a liar. I got him fired from
Rockefeller
Gaia.
disclosure.
And so, wait a minute here. You didn't get me fired from Gaia. What are you talking about? So then I got the president of Gaia to write me a letter saying that I didn't get fired, right? And so I said, Yvonne, let's go do another show, right? So we did, Jay Widener did not get fired, right? And I showed the letter and I told I didn't get fired at all. In fact, you guys were gone months before I left. So I don't know what you're talking about. And then another volley from Corey. So I had to do another volley.
Oh my God,
and another
children.
volley. So it was back and forth. And pretty soon I had, 8 or 9 shows going.
You love
of me.
this.
And then
He loves
finally
it
I said, I'm
all.
not doing Corey anymore. So that was the whole reason. And then that's what got me sued. I'm pretty much being sued for saying that I don't believe Corey's story.
And when did you first, that lawsuit came after your Reality Check?
Yeah.
Okay. So he used that against you.
Yeah.
When you were just basically defending yourself because you knew that there were rumors being spread about you.
I got to send you an email So I got an email from Corey in August of 2019. Our reality check had been on since May, 4 months. And I'll send this to you. I've got it on my computer.
They're the most delicate flowers to conspiracy.
It says, I'm going to take all of your holdings in Boulder and Crestone and take your wife's inheritance. And my wife had just gotten the inheritance like a month before, and we never told anybody. Nobody. We had a pact between us to not tell any of our friends that she had inherited this money. I was like, wow. And there's another email right after that, just as vicious.
There's nothing you can stop what's coming.
You can put them up and put them in the film.
Can't stop what's coming.
Because, and it proves in a shadow of a doubt that he's not after me because I wronged him. He wants my money. He wants all my stuff. It clearly says right there. I want your stuff, right? It's like that. So that I'm going to put that, of course, in the trial.
It's never good to threaten somebody
if
with
it doesn't
legal
get dismissed, which everybody tells me it will.
He
put out a deposition.
Not good.
On this other case. Everything that he told us at Gaia in 2015 is not true. Was never true. So therefore, I don't know the law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a law enforcement officer, but it has all the implications of a crime.
Uh-huh.
If you're telling a story, saying it's true and getting paid for it, I don't know what kind of crime that is, but it's got to be a crime. I don't get it. Why did you put us through all this, and yourself and your family? And now we got a gigantic lawsuit.
It's called your
right?
fucking business
It's going to take
motto.
years and years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get through. What is the point?
Dark Alliance. I
And
can't
I
believe
still
they
don't
call
know to
themselves
say
the
what
Dark
the point
Alliance.
is. And maybe, hopefully, you'll find out, because I am at a complete loss. I love a mystery, but man, this is one mystery I can't figure out. I've been in showbiz almost my whole life. All right, I've worked with lots of really big people. I've never known anybody that trashed the company that they worked for who made them a hit. Everything that Corey says you have to invert it to understand it. So Corey Goode put out a statement recently that the depositions, more or less, he said, didn't hurt him in Hollywood, right? And that he will be willing to negotiate the lawsuits. Well, you have to invert everything he says. So clearly the depositions really hurt him in Hollywood. And clearly he wants out of the lawsuits, because he's never said he wanted to negotiate ever before, which you're supposed to do. When you sue somebody, you're supposed to give them a chance to say, is there some way we can make this right? Right? But I was never offered that chance, to say, is there something I can do to make this right? Right? You're supposed to do that, but you never did. You just went right for the jugular, right? And so you filed a $5 million lawsuit on March 17th, 2020, against me, Cliff High,
I have that.
Joseph Savadnik, Alicia Montalbano, and 3 officers of Gaia.
So all of his previous superiors, he's trying to say, had a criminal conspiracy against him.
Again, invert that. He's in a criminal conspiracy
against
to bring us down.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
On March 17th, 2020, Corey filed a lawsuit against 3 of his former business partners for alleged breach of contract. He was deposed by an attorney on behalf of his former business partners. During the deposition, Corey's lawyer attempted to designate it as confidential. However, Goode failed to timely respond to the defendant's challenge of that designation.
This is so stupid!
This led to a situation where Stephen Cambion from the YouTube show Truth Seekers received and released videos of his deposition that revealed a web of deception and harassment on the part of Corey and the team around him, one of whom he was now suing.
What caused you to believe that you needed a cybersecurity company at that time in 2018 or 19?
Jay Widener, who worked for Gaia, was heading a cyber stalking group that was also trying to destroy my reputation so that they could steal my intellectual property. Leon Kennedy came in, not from this community, from Hollywood, 50 years in Hollywood. He came in and convinced me and manipulated me into allowing him to take the reins, to be the gatekeeper, all of the allegations that Roger Richards makes about me are false.
Okay, what do you believe his allegations to be?
I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not a serial abuser of women. In his 18-page extortion letter, he laid out that and much, much more.
For you.
Let's see, Anshar.
Just answer my question.
It's in my franchise Bible.
It
is my creation. I'm a content creator.
Understand?
Whether
Content creator.
have my life stories mixed with some drama, which I've always made public as well, and in this book.
Do you remember my question?
If y'all took about 10 minutes to read this, you will see it talks about Corey Goode, the real person, and Corey Goode, the persona that this stuff is based off of.
Oh, he's doing an Alex Jones.
All you have to do is read through this and
he did an Alex Jones. It talks about Corey Goode and then Corey Goode, the persona. I'm just doing an act.
Way to go.
Yep. Anybody in the jury will see they're two different things, baby. I'm just Corey Goode here, and then it's Corey Goode, the persona. Don't you see?
I mean, anyone in the jury will be able to read through it and make sense of that. It's a real part of my dream or delusion.
Same as Alex Jones, my dream or
delusion.
Some people might say I'm a little crazy or kooky.
Well, the 20 and back itself is my creation.
Okay, but it's part of your dream or delusion, you call it, correct?
With whatever y'all want to call it.
Well, what do you call it?
I call it my intellectual property.
And so you're saying my clients are the dark forces?
I'm saying Gaia and the cyberstalkers are the dark forces. Blue chicken was their slander.
What would you call it?
It's a blue trademark.
But you said that the funds are being used to fight dark forces, but you're saying my clients are not the dark forces?
No, I told you the dark forces were the cyberstalkers. Your clients are in league with those dark forces by assisting them and coordinating with them, the cyberstalkers. So I guess by that definition, yes, I would like to change that. They would be the dark forces.
One of Fetzer's court filings, he filed pro se with the Supreme Court. Pro se, he filed on his own behalf with the Supreme Court, and in the court documents, he's defining what the New World Order is.
I love it. Like, I love the hubris of these people.
These and that targeted justice website, they do superfluous lawsuits all the fucking time.
The hubris is just, it's like, if they didn't harm people, I could really appreciate it, but it's just,
just put them all on, just like give them Epstein Island and let all the anti-vaxxers and the secret space program people and all the QAnon people and the flat earth people.
What's that island they put Napoleon on? Is it still available? Do people live there?
Or they can go down to where the Marburg outbreak is currently happening in Africa.
They don't believe in vaccines anyway.
I think they have like more treatment.
Okay, so my clients are the dark forces.
By guilt by association, yes.
He's so sweaty.
And the PTSD, that's from some of that's from fighting in
Paul
wars
hair?
with aliens. Is that right?
No, it's from a traumatic
the
childhood.
PTSD, that's from fighting aliens in childhood, right?
Some of that was from fighting with aliens.
I'm getting
Never.
PTSD from that ramen noodle hair.
Leon said that I was such a prolific
I love that he's like,
abuser
well, no,
of
it's
women
from childhood.
that he
I
would
don't
like
know
them
what
to
you're talking
contact
about. I
him
didn't say
so
it
they
was
could
for
do
being a secret soldier.
a class action lawsuit against me. Said that I practiced black magic, which in this community is a death knell. Roger, extreme alcoholic, extreme drug addiction, was on the streets, criminal activity that he listed to me, the people that he attacked to support his heroin addiction while he lived on the streets. He told me he'd not.
Calling him a black magician is defamation?
Yes, and it is a death sentence in this community.
What is death mail? I have never heard that word.
I've never heard death mail either. Carrie Cassidy could probably tell us.
Is that like chainmail that kills you when you put it on? I mean, I don't.
I've never heard death mail, and I'll tell you, I watched a lot of trash conspiracy shows over the holiday break, and not once did death mail come up.
Dark
Magicians did a lot, but not death mail.
These people did. Oh my God! So much therapy and so much medication is needed.
I know.
Oh.
Everyone survived it. He told me that he had the power to, through his Antifa friends, have anyone in the country beat up or killed.
Take a drink.
Have you ever paid anyone through Western Union to survey
I don't know what
or
Western
surveil
Union is.
private property of anybody who's criticizing you?
There was an incident where, Roger Richards had created a video calling Dr. Greer a pedophile and all these other things, and
They
he
don't
put
like
it out
Dr. Greer,
anonymously. And he told me if I put a little fear into Bill Ryan
You went after
somehow,
Bill Ryan?
that would stop things. He was not a real good influence on me, but yeah, there's a guy that Bill Ryan had been leading the cyber stalking
You're
groups
right,
back in the past. People even came to our houses. It was really scary and bizarre. But yes, there was a guy that sent us an email from Ecuador, and he said Bill Ryan is causing all these problems.
Why are you dragging Bill Ryan into this?
You know, with the people in the area, was talking about all the stuff that he was doing, crime, supposedly. Said that, and
Like
we
this, you play a
spoke
lot
back
of
and
D&D
forth,
too.
and I said, would you send me videos of his house
He was
and
surveilling
of
Bill
places
Ryan's
around the
house
city?
in Ecuador.
And he did,
paid
and I can't
somebody
remember
for
how
that.
much.
This is of whose house?
Bill Ryan,
Okay.
He did a
one of the
doxing
chief
video on
cyber
Bill
stalkers.
Ryan?
Roger edited the video.
I knew that these depositions of Corey Goode came out, right? And it was like big all over in the conspiratorial world when it happened, but I didn't really pay attention to it. I was like, he's a slime ball. I get it. But I didn't realize how big he was a slime ball in the community. Jesus Christ.
We got Spirit Cooking, James Comey.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Dark Journalist. Wasn't that like a big QAnon influencer?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then we have Abramovich down there.
Got the owl. That's the owl
Is
from
that supposed to be
Bohemian Grove?
Abramovich? Yeah.
Got it all. Madonna.
And
I think is that Madonna? A picture of her? Oh no, wait, that's a book. It looks like.
And you know, the campaign that they took against Hillary Clinton, it really did work.
It did.
Even if you don't like hate her the way QAnon does, like they have like created a monster of her so much that it's crept into like the
Society
normies.
at large. Yeah.
Like I don't like her, but like I don't like her for the right reasons.
I
I'm not
know.
gonna like her for I mean it's like my unicorn hunting license. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree. Boy, this is wild shit. Like I said, I knew. Oh man.
That person sent the
that person.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. So I'm trying to remember in Ecuador. That was neighbors with Bill
cannot believe
Ryan.
he did all
Sent me the
this.
video. I sent the video to
Bill Ryan's work.
Roger.
You know, responsible
Roger
for a lot of
edited
this
it all
shit
together,
too, but
added
to do
music
this
to make it all
is
scary,
shitty fucking
and
thing.
then he posted
like
it
that
out.
background
I think
check that
to
Halbig was called.
the internet in a way that it wouldn't go back to be traced back or something.
To you.
To
Lauren
email us.
Eisenhower got
Since
involved in this
it
too.
was
She
us
thinks
that did it.
she's like a relative descendant of Dwight D. Eisenhower, and she's
This has not deterred people from coming forward. Inspired by Corey's admittedly fake story, on April 20th, 2024, a man named Jason Sands came forward in a Twitter space to blow the whistle on his alleged meeting with a blue alien near Nellis Air Force Base and his subsequent involvement in a 20 and Back-like program. People were quick to point out that things were not adding up with Jason's testimony, and in relation to the 20 and Back sounded non-credible.
I have heard, not the Galactic Federation, I had heard Asher Command.
oh, there's Asher again.
That was definitely a term that I had heard, and I thought, what the heck is this?
But do you know much about 20 and Back?
Yes.
Is that something you could talk about?
I'm not comfortable talking about it, but I served it. I was forced to serve in it when I was taken out of the program.
Okay, you yourself have been in an underground facility. Okay, interesting. All right, and you mentioned 20 and back. Now, are you confirming the Corey Goode testimony, or are you confirming just that this is a phenomenon where people can go 20 years into the future and then be like regressed into their former
I feel like
bodies
it,
or
Mur.
something like that? Can you give a bit of
I can't
information on?
explain the experience, but it was similar
Star
to what
Wars
he calls
world
20
is
and
far
back,
too
but I was
ordered.
introduced into that we didn't call it 20 and back, but it was definitely something
And I haven't
that
seen the
I had to
cantina
take
yet.
penance for getting out of the program.
Okay, interesting. I'm not quite sure how to wrap that around my head.
Well, I don't either, to tell you the truth. It was a very strange experience.
UFO
I'm not
Spaces used to be
quite
one of my
comfortable
favorites on
talking about the whole
Twitter,
thing
but
in detail at
Elon
this
and everything
point
ruined
because
that
it
for
was
me. They were fun to listen to.
in many ways, but maybe sometime in the future I'll be able to come to grips with it and be able to talk about it.
Wow. That was something. Oh, there's a second episode. We'll watch that next week. Oh, stop.
Jeez.
I'm yelling at myself. I didn't know it was 2 episodes. Well,
Excuse me. Wow. You okay?
Wrong pipe. You know how you get that spit? Sometimes it goes. We'll watch. Well, I guess we know what we'll do next week. We can finish since this was so juicy. We have to find out how it ends. I didn't know it was a 2-parter. I didn't know there was 2 episodes. So we'll just plan next Wednesday. We'll do episode 2, and then maybe the following week we can see if Quacks is ready to do some TI stuff with us.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we can. Wow, that was a wild ride.
I'm so angry.
I know. Well, at least we won't have to plan for next week because we do part 2's coming up, and we can just be more pissed off and laugh and.
But I just
see what
want
they do.
I want people to understand. I mean, I don't know the specific numbers, but just experience, just my personal experience. And I'm not trying to make myself sound special because I'm not. But you're looking at someone that was a victim of the type of shit that these people pumped out. And I overcame that, but the majority of people don't. Majority of people stay in. And like I said, I don't think I'm special. There are a lot of us out there. There are more than you think. It's just not too many people really want to talk about it because it's really embarrassing for a lot of us. But I just want people to understand that this is like a virus. And it is like Night of the Living Dead. The people that it kills gets up and kills. And it spreads. It's the R factor that we heard about a lot with COVID.
Yes.
It spreads virally. It is a disease. And in the majority of people, it implants itself in a very dangerous way. There are some rare people out there that can expose themselves to this stuff and not get affected. Just like there are rare people out there that can smoke a cigarette once in a while.
Yeah. I've taken so much of this content. It does nothing to me at all. Like, I watched it all over Christmas. I've watched it my whole life growing up. Nothing. Nada. Zip zilch. I've had books my whole life. My son does. Like, I've gotten him books like this since he was a child. And he's a librarian now. It does nothing to him. I got him some books this Christmas. My other son, too. I don't know if there's genetically or something the way people's brains are wired. I don't know, if they've studied the conspiratorial, type brain, what switch that is, I don't know.
Well, I think I keep going over this. I think one thing that really played a factor for me was entitlement. And I'm not sure which came first. I'm pretty sure the entitlement came first, but I remember feeling this like sense of entitlement around the time that I was like reading about pyramids and stuff like that. And I'm not blaming my parents. I was an only child, so things are going to be a little different with an only child.
Yeah.
They couldn't have any more after me. So, God, why would they want to?
Why?
But
They didn't need to because the mold was broken when they had you. That's why you were like perfect. Like it was fine. They had a great kid.
But it just it was, and you know, they're I'm not blaming them, but the entitlement, I think a lot of people that have entitlement, I think that does run parallel to the conspiracy theories. I think it can be a pre-existing fact. And like I said, I haven't done research on it. This is just my
Would that fall
experience and
into
from
the
watching others.
I have that insider knowledge, like I'm the person that knows something everybody else doesn't know?
Yeah,
Like with the
it's
entitlement?
like, yeah, it's like the Enron factor, the smartest guys in the room type of thing.
Yeah.
And Enron is actually a perfect example of the bullshit that some of these people are capable of pumping out once they go from victim to victimizer. That's the line. That is the line that we have to discern. At what point do you stop being a victim and start becoming a victimizer?
Exactly. Good night, Steph. I love ya.
Yeah, I love you too. And everybody should watch Bob's Burgers. I've been watching a lot of
Yes,
it lately.
they are very pro LGBTQIA plus rights. Look during Pride Month, they have special creation shirts that they make, designs, bags, totes, stickers, you name it. And I believe it's 50% of the proceeds go to the Trevor Project. So look for that. I get merch every Pride Month. Yeah, great show.
And keep your eyes open if they hire what's his name back after the J6 pardons. I am not
Highly doubt it because they are
I
so
don't think
pro.
they will.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
All right. Night,
All
everybody.
right.
Night, Steph.
See you guys. Thank you. Bye.
I don't need new tires, but stay tuned for the next episode.
We're going to have to be smart. We're going to have to be strategic. We're going to have to be aggressive.
I'm an alpha guy.
I'll flip a table every time you aren't getting by.
Let's go. Just push.
It's all psychological warfare.
I'm not part of QAnon.
We know what they are doing.
For Trump. Ba-da-da-da-da.
If shit goes wrong, like I will literally have to leave the country.
Stop that.
I'll land my initial plane.
Okay, high five. This isn't the hi-fi show.
Good night. Nighty night.